It's a very special time of the year for a lot of people, both for holiday reasons and for wrestling reasons, to celebrate the end of the year and look back at the year that was 2020, good or bad. We're focused more on the positives today. Let's ignore all the crates that happened this year, but we can't really go forward without mentioning some tragic news we heard last night, and that is All Elite Wrestling star, formerly known as Luke Harper, now known as Brody Lee, has passed away due to a non-COVID related lung issue. We heard this news just last night around like 8:30 my time, and we want to send our wishes to the Huber family, everybody in All Elite Wrestling, everybody who ever worked with the guy, and WWE on the independent scene, as the world really lost one of the most caring and hardworking people that we have seen in recent years. And Eric and Schmidt, how are you guys feeling about it?
It was just a punch in the gut. It was just so unexpected, and it's just really sad because great wrestler, better guy. It's everyone's loss.
Yes, and Schmidt, what about you?
It was very much just, it hit me like a freight train. Like it's hard.
It's very hard, and I was, as my situation was, as I finished writing a new video that's gonna be coming out hopefully around New Year's time, and then I go to record it, get set up, I check Twitter, and all of a sudden I see the AW post posted like 2 minutes ago, and I'm like, what? And after that, WWE acknowledged it. They tweeted about it as well. Everyone from like every promotion was tweeting about it. I saw like AEW talent, WWE talent, like of legends as well, were tweeting about it. It just shows like how much of community like wrestling really has, and people may work for different promotions, be on different sides of the fences, but this is all one big family where people do what they love. And Brody Lee, Huber, Luke Harper, whatever he was known as, he had that impact on somebody, positive, just making someone's day, bringing like some entertainment, as we saw, like especially this year when he moved to AEW, we got to see a lot more of the guy, what he could do on TV, and he was having like a great year. And last time we saw him, he went out with a great match on DYNAMITE against Cody, and if that's going to remember him by, I think it's a great way to go out.
Absolutely.
Unfortunate news again, but we send all of our best wishes to everybody affected, All Elite Wrestling, WWE, and Brody Lee's family, of course. But we must move forward, and that is where we're going to try and brighten the mood by having the second annual Shooties Awards. But first and foremost, welcome back to the Shoot Style Wrestling Podcast. As usual, joined by the king of Shoot Style, Stel, the host, and my usual guests. We have Eric. Sorry for the sad news. How you doing? How was your holiday?
It was good. I had to work Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, but other than that, it was awesome.
That's awesome. And Schmidt, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla for Christmas, so I'm very happy.
Not bad. On Xbox One, right?
Yeah, I might.
Not bad. That's pretty good. I might. Oh, you say something else?
Yeah, I might be streaming it, all honesty.
Ooh, sounds good. That sounds like a good plan. On my end, you guys have probably seen the audio difference. I now have a new microphone. I am now rocking the Shure MV7 microphone. I have a new monitor as well. Of course, you can't see it because it's where my webcam is. But more changes are coming on my end. I'm gonna have a new webcam very soon. And in 2021, with my tax returns, a whole new PC because I'm building one. Yes, that's what I'm using my tax returns on. It is responsible. But yeah, before we get into the Shooties, the only things we really think of for like major news is that new Intercontinental Champion, everybody.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think is just a really good way to end the year, because SmackDown has been doing well, and they had this really good moment in their mid card. And yeah, how do we feel about our new champion, Big E?
I love it. Big E I think he's going to be the next big, he's going to be the next guy. I want him to go against Roman at WrestleMania. I've heard rumors about Goldberg. No, get him out of here.
It's the match we never got, though.
And that's the match we don't need. I'm cool with it.
If it happens, I hope it's just a glorified squash match where Roman just like spear, some awesome dialogue, then he just wins. That's what I hope it is.
Yep.
Schmidt, how about you? I feel about a new champ.
I love it. I'm very happy that Big E has gotten his singles push that he should have had a fucking while ago.
Yeah, first time he's had that belt since 2013. That was almost 8 years ago, by the way, guys, which is insane. That was in high school.
That wasn't a very successful title reign, if I can remember.
Yeah, he had it for a while, but he didn't really get to do anything, though. He had it from I think November to April, which that's not bad, but he didn't get to do anything.
Yeah,
which sucked.
And didn't he lose it to Curtis Axel too?
He won it from Axel. He lost it to Wade Barrett when I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was after Mania 30. It was 2014 when he lost it. Yeah, he lost it, I think, at Extreme Rules that year. But I don't really remember anything from him. He won it in a good way because Axel was the champion. Because remember that? Oh my god. I watched the video before I went live to Different Cult Talk. It's like the 10 wrestlers who beat Triple H, and the thumbnail was Axel versus Triple H.
I remember
and I'm
that
like,
match.
oh,
It
no.
was a Raw after WrestleMania, and he beat Triple H. But they were saying, Triple H just had a match with Brock Lesnar, and he's concussed.
And like can he do it? Like, and then that was the whole will he, won't he like storyline. It was such a weird period, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then 2013 was such like a weird year, but like now we're in 2020, and that's been a year in itself. But I think in the Christmas episode, actually, the SmackDown did really well from what I heard. It drew over 4 million people at one point.
The highest rated WWE show of the year.
Which, like, we haven't really seen this number since I think the SmackDown premiere on Fox last year, which drew like identical numbers. So, like, I mean, there was like an NFL lead-in, so because there was football on during Christmas,
that
but then
did help. That did help.
It did.
Yeah,
it did. But like, people stuck around. Where I'm watching Dynamite on Wednesday, and I'm seeing NBA people roast Chris Jericho on Twitter. I'm like, holy shit! It was actually hilarious too. And Dynamite did they did all right, but it wasn't really much of a difference compared to other weeks. But it's just nice seeing this show, which like for the first half of the year, was not doing great. But, we'll get to like more about it when we get to our Shooty Awards. Because I don't really have any other headlines you guys think of. I mean, TLC happened as well, and someone died in kayfabe. That is.
Yeah.
That's set on fire.
Yeah, so quick recap of TLC. Let's see. AJ lost to McIntyre. We got a cash in, and again.
No, I don't. I kind of read something. I don't think it's an actual cash in because I think they're using the loophole that John Morrison handed over the briefcase, so it doesn't count.
Oh, have they mentioned that on TV?
I don't know. I haven't been able to watch Raw, but yeah.
I mean, why would you watch Raw in 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess, but like they made the announcement that Miz was gonna do it, and Morrison was chased out of the building by Omos, which was actually kind of hilarious to me. And then Miz just lost. I thought he was gonna do it at one point, but no.
Yeah.
And then Drew won. I'm not. I'm not mad at the result. I actually think it's like not a bad result at all, though.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't be upset if Miz successfully cashed it in because I think he's definitely earned it, and I think he can.
He's definitely Look, his like past 4 years have been amazing. I think ever since like the second brand split, he's done a great job of what he's had to do. But maybe one day. They're clearly all in on Drew right now, and that's not a bad thing at all. No. Otherwise, Sasha Banks beat Carmella, and I thought was like an okay match.
That got like back 4 and forth stars.
Stuff. Yeah, it was like back and forth. They're pinning each other all the time. Just really fun. What else we got? The new tag champs. I was really excited by this. The Hurt Business capping off a really good year in beating the New Day. Pretty clean, aside from like the weird finish where Shelton was going to finish him off, and Cedric tagged in and wins it for himself. I was worried that they would mess that up, but no, he just did it. And Cedric coming along. I like what they're doing with him because they're giving him more of like focus and more of a character. That's what he really needs. And we can talk about that more later on. We also had there's like another match. At the women's tag team title match, we had Asuka and the returning Charlotte Flair defeating Garbage Team. Well, they're both garbage teams, really, but they win, and it was pretty much got shot off for a highlight reel. Short match. I thought she looked.
I was sure. I knew Charlotte was going to return. I thought she was going to turn on Asuka in the match because
that's what I thought was going to happen too, and then the heels would win.
Challenging Asuka. No one, but I bet you Charlotte's going to turn on her in the next couple of weeks or something.
Something's going to happen. I think by the Rumble we'll know what's going to happen. Yeah. So we'll see what their plans are. I'm fine with it as long as it leads to something. But it kind of feels like the tag titles are used to prop up feuds.
Yeah.
Happened with Sasha and Bayley. Jackson Baszler were feuding, but then they became a mismatched tag team. Now they're doing like pretty all right, but it was all used to get Lana as a babyface over, which look how that turned out. She wasn't at the pay-per-view. And then again, was there anything else before the co-main event? I'm trying to think of anything else I'm missing before that other TLC match.
Oh god,
I don't think so.
Street Profits, right?
No, they weren't booked. They were on SmackDown before that.
Oh,
yeah. So then the co-main event, the Universal TLC match, which was also a lot of fun.
Ooh, yeah.
Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, just really tearing the house down, and like beating the shit out of each other, and Roman just throwing himself into a barricade and breaking the barricade, that was a really amazing moment. And Kevin just fought as he does, and fortunately, it wasn't enough. Even with Jey Uso there, he still won. Oh, he still lost, I should say. So yeah, it was a really fun car crash main event. Enjoyed it. And then the main event. A fire flying for the match. What the hell is this going to happen? When it started, I'm like, wait, where's the fire? And then like a big move happened. I'm like, oh.
There it is.
It's in the crowd, which I thought was neat because there's nobody there. So they actually got pretty creative with it.
Yeah.
How'd you guys feel about it?
I was just excited. It was a God-honest Inferno match where you have to light your opponent on fire instead of just like a Ring of Fire match from SummerSlam 2013.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That was not fun. That was the last time he was. Bray Wyatt was in that match too.
Yep.
But it was just like you just went by pinfall.
That was his in-ring debut against Kane.
And then and it was a really strange match.
Yeah.
Was there like a fireproof blanket that they used to cheat too?
Yeah.
Or was that a different year?
Yeah, Harper and Rowan, they threw the fireproof
was,
blanket and climbed in the ring.
That was not very weird start to your run. Shmit, how about you? How'd you feel?
I like it. It's from what I've heard, WWE might be starting a new era because USA has called for it.
Yeah, so I think the week before TLC they drew like their lowest rating ever, and I'm like, oh, like I'm not really a ratings guy, but like considering how Raw is usually done compared to SmackDown, it's like, oh yeah, that's a problem.
But I mean, do ratings really matter in 2020 with all this?
It's a good question. People talk about them, but like you also have so many other ways you can get discoverability: social media, every other superstar making their brands outside of or inside WWE, word of mouth, that sort of thing. I'm like, I understand why the TV networks would be mad, but that's really it. Yeah. So like they might, as Spitz said, they might be leaning more towards like a mature, violent product, as we saw. The Fiend got lit on fire. It was actually a really cool visual, I thought too. And then the ending, which we know it's not actually him because it was clearly a prop.
That wasn't him.
Yes, I'm sorry to pull back the curtain. We knew it was a doll, but in the kayfabe, yes, he's dead. In the kayfabe, he's dead. Let's all go with that. Actually, I don't know what's gonna happen next, but
I will say the one Raw I did watch was the Raw after TLC because I wanted to know what happens. Alexa Bliss is insinuating that he might come back at some point because the Fiend is like a supernatural being or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it makes sense because he's a hellspawn. Like, let's be real, guys. He's a freaking hellspawn that is like who can no-sell a lot of stuff, which makes sense because he's a supernatural character. I wouldn't be shocked if like we get to the Royal Rumble and he makes like this really cool version like Undertaker coming back against Orton that really cool way, like times 1,000. I can see like something like that happening, but that's what I could think. I think I'm intrigued because like I think the Fiend had I think he had like a decent year. A lot of ups and downs. We don't talk about how it started.
It started with you as Universal Champion, ended on fire.
Yeah. So I think it's a good way to summarize that title until like Roman won it. That title has seen some really rough days, if I'm being honest. We'll save for the championship talk. But it was a year, and I think what's a good way to cap off the year? Been talking about some lovely Shooty awards. So with that out of the way, let's get into the meat of this show, and that is the second annual Shooties Awards. So there are 25 main awards, but we're going to do a quick lightning round, which you guys cannot prepare for. I have 10 prompts here, so when I say the prompt, you must come up with the first answer that comes to your mind, little explanation, and we'll make this quick. All right, lightning round. There's 3 of us here. It should go relatively quick. The first one I have, best flying wrestler.
Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet.
Phoenix. Best brawler.
Ooh. Jon Moxley.
Walter.
Best TV segment.
Like interview kind of thing?
Anything. Any TV segment. Could be like a promo segment, could be an interview, that sort of thing. It had to be on TV, not pay-per-view.
Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, Firefly Funhouse.
Becky's pregnancy promo. Funniest moment, best wrestling meme. Either one.
Anything Chris Jericho did.
Chris Jericho getting roasted on Twitter.
Late dinner debonair. So
yeah, that's what I was trying to think. I could
everything Chris Jericho related, basically.
The New York Times winning best moment.
And it actually did, which is hilarious. He had the plaque and everything on Dynamite. I thought that was so funny. Most shocking moment.
Oh God. Oh, Evil turning on Naito.
It's a good one.
Jey Uso joining the family thing.
Okay. I mean, it made sense too. Sting appearing on Dynamite.
Oh, it's true. Oh. I quick. I thought it was Glacier. I was
because the Tron,
because the snow,
the music was like very epic. I'm like, oh my God, he appeared it all in for Cody.
Yeah.
So it would have made sense. All right, next one. This would be an interesting one. The unanswered question of the year.
Who got Becky pregnant? I'm just kidding.
I mean, in kayfabe, we don't know.
I don't know. They got all the questions are kind of answered.
I mean, I have one, but I feel like no one.
What would WrestleMania 36 actually have been?
True. What would have maybe it would have been different.
What would Undertaker versus Styles have been.
Like a regular match.
Yeah.
Spit, did you say anything?
Who threw the fucking pie at Kevin Owens?
That's an age-old question, but
It's
yeah, we still don't know.
not
Years ago.
answered.
We still don't know though. All right, mine is who attacked Jon Moxley. We still don't know, don't we? Like you could say it was probably Don
right.
Callis,
No.
but we still don't know. This one, I think this is a pretty easy one. Wrestler to watch in 2021.
I gotta say Jey Uso.
That's a good one.
Pretty good one.
Big E.
Yeah, I'm going for Big E.
Or Sami
Pretty easy
Zayn.
one. Sammy too. Like I feel like anybody in that SmackDown mid card could have a big year, but I'm gonna go with Big E. Pretty safe one. The best non-wrestler.
Does almost count as a non-wrestler?
He hasn't really wrestled yet.
So almost.
I hope he's more athletic. I'm kind of like, I would see he moves.
I'm curious to see.
I'm kind of worried he's gonna be like a great Khali kind of thing.
Yeah, I can't really do a lot because he's been given too much too soon.
Yeah. Don Callis, I guess.
Yeah, at least really end of the year one, but pretty good. I'm going for MVP, and I'll explain more why later.
Yeah, he's a wrestler.
But like, he's a mouthpiece. I mean, if not, I'll just say probably Tony Schiavone then. All right. Best booker.
Gato.
Yeah, Gato.
Tony Khan. And finally, this actually was really hard for me. Best theme song. This is the last one.
Oh, Robbie Eagles.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think you mentioned that to me like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I gotta say I still love the Randy Orton theme.
I mean, voices or the old one's way better, but that's just me.
I agree with that, but
this one's actually really hard. I can't think of a good one like off the top of my head. There's no crowd for it, then they make it better. That's the thing about that theme song. Oh god. So many options. You know what? I'm gonna go for Lance Archer.
Oh,
it's a pretty good theme song.
Everybody dies.
Yeah, and then when you do that, everybody dies, and it's now or never. That's a meme I got earlier. It's actually because the bridge is so good. There's like so many other options. I was listening to like so many themes, so I had to make up my mind. I'm like, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. Again, that's lightning round. First thing comes to mind. All right, so that is the lightning round. Really brief, not really many explanations needed. So the actual awards, we have 25 to go through. We divide up into 5 parts. Probably take some breathers in between each part. Our very first one on the agenda is Most Improved. So the superstar who started the year, like, all right, he's pretty all right, or they're pretty all right, I should say. But they really came along this year, and they had a really good year for themselves. Let's do someone who's not here to start. I have Tim and Sam's ballots on a sticky note. They did do ballots, but they weren't able to make it today. Sam was slated to be here, but last second, family made him not be here. Really unfortunate. I'll start with his. Looking at Sam's ballot, let me just find where he has it written down. Sam has picked Bailey for Most Improved. He didn't have an explanation why on his ballot, but I can kind of see why. People were pretty about her heel run early on, and like her title reign wasn't really up to much, but her reign came along like in the later half of the year, the stuff with Sasha Banks in the summer, really adding some more entertainment value to the pandemic era. And she really ended her reign in a good style and had a great match to end it, and she's still kind of relevant, but that's really, so really came to her own as a heel. I could see that. And Tim, also not here, he has picked Ricky Starks for his, which that is a really interesting one, considering we have not seen a ton of him. And as someone who has followed him since the NWA days last year, I feel like we've always seen his charisma since then, but we've really still allowed to see more of his moveset in like an AEW stance, because it's more ring time, be able to wrestle some more. But the guy,
he wrestles more on. I think he wrestles more on Dark.
Dark, yeah, because that's where he's able to wrestle a lot more, because Dynamite's literally in tag team matches.
Yeah,
but if we've seen a lot of his work, really good like trained wrestler. He's really charismatic. I think he was like coached by Undertaker like in his background. That's cool. That's so easy. He learned a lot from him too. I think we'll see a lot more of him in the years to come. But those two out of the way, Eric, who is your most improved?
My most improved is over from New Japan, and I picked young lion Yuya Uemura.
I know this guy. I've seen him wrestle like once or twice.
My reasoning is, he's still a young lion, but during the Best of the Super Juniors, he was a fill-in for
Was it
El Desperado's tag team partner? I'm totally blanking his name.
he was in there. He was in the final.
Yeah, no. So he had a knee injury, so Yuya Uemura filled in. He had a good Best of Super Juniors tournament. He didn't win any points, but you saw him improve at every single match throughout the tournament.
Which is good. Didn't like almost beat Takahashi at one point, or like he looks like he was going to?
I think so. I think he almost beat Doki or something.
Which that's all right, but
Yeah,
that's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like Takahashi, I heard he almost did it. I'm like, oh god, that would have been an amazing win for him. But
yeah,
he didn't. He lost the guy who eventually won the tournament, but still.
Yeah. He lost everybody.
All right. Pretty solid. I like that. Young lion, someone who might be talking about in years to come.
Yes.
All right, Matt, your most improved.
My most improved is Jey Uso, because you know Jey Uso. He started out as a tag team guy in the beginning of the year. He wasn't doing much the whole time. He was doing tag team stuff, and then this year, when Roman turned heel, he started going into his own, started becoming he became like a singles competitor. And when you saw that match with him and Roman, oh my god, he proved himself as a singles competitor.
Yeah, and that leaves me. I have also gone for Jey Uso for almost the exact same reasons as Schmidt. So yeah, he was a tag team guy for years since we first met him, like in 2010, wasn't it? Always talking about with his partner Jimmy, and the issue was we could never tell them apart until there was that one promo that he cut before Clash of Champions where he's talking to Roman and he goes, "You know what they say when they see me? Which one are you?" And after Clash of Champions and after Hell in a Cell, we know how to tell them apart. As of right now, we know Jimmy Uso could come out of nowhere next year and have like another insane year like Jay did. And the thing is, before Jay had the singles push, you know what he was doing on SmackDown? Hosting a goddamn karaoke segment that was awful.
Oof.
And just 2 months later, he's in the main event of Clash of Champions having like a Shakespearean match with his cousin. And then another amazing match at Hell in a Cell, which I gave 5 stars in my Hell in a Cell review for very good reason. And it's just crazy to see a guy who wasn't really doing a lot go from that in just one storyline, having to work so hard with his cousin, just really knocking out the park every single week. So yeah, and his stock has gone so far up. Like even after like the feud's over, he's wrestling big matches on SmackDown like every week. He's usually in the main event. He's wrestling like Kevin Owens, wrestling Daniel Bryan, or even Otis, I think sometimes too. He's still he's holding his own in a singles competition. He might not win all the time, but they have some stock in him. He's going to keep going, and we'll see what happens for him the next year. So the rules of this is if something has 3 votes, it automatically wins. But Eric, do you have a case against this?
Yeah. So with Jey Uso, I think we always knew he had it in him, but he's always been with the tag team. But like you saw it, especially like during the Usos versus like New Day matches, you saw
tag matches.
He can do it. But now he just has the opportunity as a single star. I just think I always knew he had it in him.
But now we're seeing it.
Yeah.
But now they're actually able to flesh it out on TV. That's valid. It's just a matter of like we never really. But that's the thing it's the thing that Jay said. It's like which one are you? That's the big thing is we never could really tell.
But as a twin myself, I can tell them apart.
So he has that advantage on him.
Yeah,
not everybody has that.
I don't.
I mean, I have twin sisters, but I'm not the twins of them. But do we go with the 2-1-1-1 or do we? Because majority usually wins, but how do we feel? We okay giving it to Jay?
Yeah, majority makes sense.
Yeah, if something gets 3 votes out of 5, then it automatically wins. It can't really be touched at that point because it's 3 people voted for it. If it's 2-1-1, then it's like, but all right. The first award of the Shooties goes to most improved for Jey Uso. Congratulations to him. Enjoy your golden towel. Hopefully Roman doesn't take it from you because you lose a match. All right. Moving on next, we're going to go over to the championship of the year. So a title belt that you feel had a really good year and was elevated really well. We'll start with Tim on this one. We'll do people who aren't here usually first, just get them out of the way. Tim's championship is the TNT championship over on AEW. Introduced as their mid-card title, and it was introduced in a big way. Had a fun tournament full of different storylines and capped off Double or Nothing in a match that really divided opinion of who should have won that. But since then, we had the open challenge by Cody. We got introduced to a lot of new faces. Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, Scorpio Sky had a really good match with Cody. And we had the big moment of him losing the belt to Brody in a squash match, which was, whew, no one saw that coming. It was a really cool moment for the Dark Order. Cody won the belt back after dyeing his hair black for some reason. Then he went blonde again, which that was a weird period. And then he lost to Darby Allin at Full Gear, and Darby Allin currently holds the belt and is heading into some interesting stuff coming up. He's facing Brian Cage to start 2021. So yeah, a belt that is usually highlighted by stuff on TNT. Makes sense as the network title. I think a pretty solid year. I can agree with him on that one. And we go over to Sam. Sam, staying in AEW, has picked a different title. He has picked the World Tag Team Championships. And I will save explanation for that because I'm going to go as well. I have also picked the AEW World Tag Team Championships to go off that. These belts were established around this time last year, and I always thought that they've always had the strongest tag team division in all of wrestling. I could totally agree with that. However, the inaugural champions SCU, I thought maybe didn't highlight that perfectly, considering the other talent they had in the division. That all changed this year when Omega and Hangman won the belts on the Jericho Cruise, and Hangman crowd surfed away in a beautiful moment, I thought. And then they had this wonderful reign of taking all comers and having this great overlapping story between Kenny and Hangman themselves, and the overlapping stuff with the Elite, the Bucks, going like, is he really your tag partner? Do you trust this guy? We can't really trust him, blah, blah, blah. Then it gets even more in-depth because in the summer we have FTR debut. They go for the belts. They're feuding with a lot of people in the tag division as Kenny and Hangman really continue their world tour, taking out other tag teams. And it all comes to a head in the summer where Hangman hangs out with FTR, costs the Bucks, and it's all over the belts. It's all over the belts. He didn't want to face the Bucks again. Gets cast out of the Elite, like for good. And then we have these great matches. We have the match at Revolution. We have all these great TV title defense against the Lucha Brothers, Best Friends, Private Party, and then we also had how they lost the belts at All Out to FTR. FTR had like their 20 minutes of greatness, whatever it was called, on Dynamite for a bit, and then it's all capped off at Full Gear in that tribute to tag team wrestling where they did Edge Orton but with tag teams basically. That's basically what that match was. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think they had an amazing year. Had overarching stories, had great rivalries, had some really good moments from a lot of the tag teams in the division. And yeah, people like when you think of those belts, you think of how competitive that division is, and I think this year showcased that. All right, pass over to Eric. What is your championship of the year?
For my championship of the year, I picked the WWE Championship.
That's a good pick.
I thought that, WWE focused really well on it. I thought Drew had a great reign, and even Orton's little reign, it was kind of iffy, but then Drew picked it back up and we're all set. It just seemed like every other championship, especially like in WWE, like the Universal Championship was kind of like put on the back burner, and like
especially the first half of the year.
Yeah. And even in like New Japan, like their titles were kind of put in the background because mainly it was about people coming back together and just at least we're having shows. Mm-hmm. And maybe the titles aren't the most important thing, but it always seemed like the WWE Championship was always the most important.
Plus, New Japan had to go away for a while too, so they got kind of rough. It wasn't for terribly long, but still, like there was a period where we didn't get them at all, so we can really get to see like the double champions or like a lot of their mid card guys. Anything else, Eric, to add? Oh, he's frozen. He's frozen on my end.
That's it.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, Schmidt, pass over to you. Your championship of the year.
My original pick was the NXT Championship, but I have to agree with Eric after hearing his point because it's the WWE Championship has felt the most important title this year. Like, especially since WWE has been around all year.
So is AEW, though.
True.
So this is 2-2 then, because Tim is not really a factor here because he picked the TNT Championship, and Sam also picked the tag titles. So I guess we look at it from like, how should we look at it? Like match quality, storyline quality, or just like what we think? Because I do think the WWE title has been valuable as well. I just feel that the stories that the tag titles had in AEW were incredibly strong, and like all the matches we saw on pay-per-view, Drew had great matches as well. Don't get me wrong. Seth, how he won it at Mania was such a cool way. It was really short. SummerSlam had a great match of Orton. Ambulance match, even though it was really weirdly booked, it was still really fun. Mm-hmm. Hell in a Cell match, interesting that was the main event, but still, hey, wasn't a bad match. We got a proper finish out of it because we don't talk about what happened last year. So, so this is actually really tough because it's 2-2. Like, how do you guys feel about the AEW tag titles then?
Oh no, I can totally agree with them as a good choice. They've had some of the best matches, especially like tag team wrestling. Like WWE is Vince just doesn't.
It's like the opposite of AEW. Yeah, they just don't care.
And it's nice to see it.
Mm-hmm. So like I think if we don't want to split it, I mean if we don't want to give a de facto winner, we could award it to both as like AEW best title, best
No.
WWE or best singles
No,
or
we
best
need
tag
one.
team
We
title.
need one title.
There can only be one champion, as John Cena would say.
One ring to rule them all.
Only
Yep.
one.
This is tough. Schmidt, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I still think it's the WWE Championship.
All right.
So you can't change his mind.
I'll-
Sam is not here, neither is Tim.
I'll change my answer. I'll go with the AEW tag team titles.
Ooh, Eric caves in. Like it's one. This is what this thing's gonna come. There's gonna be a lot of these today. I'm saying that right now. There's gonna be a lot of these where we're like, oh, I don't know which one to pick. So by a hair, we'll give it an honorable mention. We'll get a silver towel. But you know, the AEW World Tag Team titles take home the Shooty for Championship of the Year. I'm kind of glad you didn't pick the NXT title, Schmidt, because the NXT title had the first half of the year was good. Don't get me wrong, but after Cross's injury and after what happened to Balor,
Yeah.
the last quarter of the year was just it was just bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it had never happened, I'm sure it would have been up there. But you know, it's just that bad luck. So by a hair, the World Tag Team titles take it home for AEW. All right, the next one. This should be a fun one. It is the best commentator. So your favorite in-ring or your favorite broadcaster on any program. Let's go to people who are not here. Sam, Chris Jericho. Very entertaining, very funny. He makes some really good snarky remarks on commentary. You know, whenever he's on, it's special. Makes it memorable in some way. So yeah, it's a good one. And Tim also loves Chris Jericho in general. So hey, not a bad pick at all. Tim, Excalibur, which you know brings a lot of good insight. Has a good understanding of pop culture. Understands how to make the right jokes at the right time. If you watch him in AW Dark, him and Taz, all they're doing is just making fun of everything that's happening. So they're really he's a fun guy to listen to. I can agree. Schmidt, your commentator of the year, or best commentator, I should say.
The best commentator of the year for me is Samoa Joe.
Very good pick, I think.
Because of his snarky remarks towards Cole whenever, or what, I forget which show he is.
Tom Phillips.
Yeah,
Tom Phillips. Yeah, they're actually a really good team. It just sucks they're on Raw.
Tom, whenever he makes something stupid or says something stupid, I just love Samoa Joe just so much as a wrestler and a commentator.
I miss him wrestling, but this is a good way to use him if he's gonna like take some time to like heal and get ready. I hope we see him wrestle again in 2021. All right, anything else to add, Schmidt?
Not really.
Great pick though. All right, Eric, let's head over to you. Your best commentator.
My best commentator is Kevin Kelly from New Japan Pro Wrestling, English commentary.
English, yep.
I think he's great. He knows all the wrestling moves. He will call a match perfectly, but he also throws in he kind of makes inside jokes, which to New Japan fans they would only
kind of
get.
like Excalibur does.
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel more special that if you follow the product. And he also plays up the heels as really bad guys, so it's just it makes the stories even better. The good guys are really good, the bad guys are really bad, and it just it helps everything along together.
Something terrible happens. He's like, "Oh no, this is so bad for this reason." That sort of thing.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh," and then they can kind of swear in New Japan, so he's like,
yeah,
"You bastard, you son of a bitch."
Yep, I've definitely heard him say that. It's a really good one. And my best commentator, like Eric, is also Kevin Kelly. I've gone for him as well. So yeah, I kind of agree. He brings this board. He's great. He has the analytics side where he talks about the win-loss record. I was watching Okada Ibushi. He was mentioning that a lot.
Yeah.
The psychology he does really well. He just knows how he's like a total package on commentary. He can do everything.
Yeah.
The sports part, the drama. He sells the storyline really well. He makes the really big moments feel so important. It's kind of like the JR where he'll freak out when something awful happens. It's that sort of thing, as you said. So yeah, he may have not had a full year. But when he's around, he's here for 10 months basically out of the 12 months. I think he had a great year. Yeah. I'll give honorable mentions. My honorable mentions were to Excalibur, Tony, and Wade Barrett / Stu Bennett. I think they all had good years too. Barrett, no, he just wasn't here for the whole year. So more 4 to 6 months. Shivani, he does a lot outside of commentary too. He's an interviewer. Does a lot of promos with people too. So he's more than the commentator. Excalibur, he's probably my second place because he's just really fun to listen to. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Kevin Kelly here because like I said, he's we both said, total package. Can I do everything? Brings entertainment, drama, and everything to it. Schmidt, do you have any rebuttal against that? Because it's 2-1 in the call.
Honestly, I still think Samoa Joe because he's just so good on the mic. He's just really agree. Good.
Because he's just such good supporting Joe. I guess it's probably the best commentator on the main roster. Would we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it's really Barrett in NXT and then Nigel McGuinness in NXT UK. But NXT UK was gone for so long this year. I can't really give him anything, which it's sad. But I love Nigel and I miss him so much on NXT. But yeah, because it's 2-1 in call. We just say it's Kevin Kelly now.
It's Kevin Kelly majority.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Schmidt, but it's 2-1 in the call too, which is because Tim and Schmidt can't back you up here, sadly. So commentator of the year, Kevin Kelly of New Japan takes it home for English commentary. All right, pretty good one. Those are all, like, to be fair, Samoa Joe is a great pick, as I said, but it's just really hard when you're down at disadvantage. But New Japan, hey, they're gonna keep going. All right, our next one is the best debut of the year. Let me see. Yep, there's mine. So yeah, basically someone who came into any promotion, could be like maybe an established name that we already know, go into another promotion in a big way. So let's go to people who are not here. Let's go over to Sam and Tim. Sam, where's debut on here? Sam, really, really recent one, pick Sting for his best debut. It was done really well. Don't get me wrong. The cinematic of like the Tron, the mystery of like who it's going to be. Eric thought it was Glacier, as we heard earlier.
It was Glacier.
Yeah, he thought it was Glacier because like the snow, the really like the epic music makes you think of like a superhero or a villain. Glacier, very much like a cartoon character presentation. But nope, it was Sting. And then there was the amazing call from Tony Schiavone. The way he delivered it was so good. The first time in like almost 20 years, the first time back on TNT. It was just a beautiful moment. And it was such like it was shocking to me too, because I'm like, I didn't think this was gonna happen.
I didn't think it was gonna happen either.
Yeah, maybe like as a backstage guy, maybe like on TV, making appearances. No, not at all. And hey, I thought it was just a really good debut. He hasn't done a lot. It's been very recent, but he's appearing every week. Cutting promos, work with Darby Allin, so he's gonna be involved. I hope it's the coach. I don't want to see him wrestle because I'm worried about that.
I don't think he's gonna do like an actual in-ring match. I've heard he wants to do cinematic matches.
Which that's better. We saw how it worked Undertaker.
Yeah, he wanted to work a cinematic match with Undertaker, but they didn't go for it.
That would have been.
That would have been amazing.
What could have been? What could have been?
Amazing.
All right. So yep, and Tim, really easy one, has picked Karrion Kross. I think we all saw how his debut was. Squashing Tommaso Ciampa at a takeover, huge way. Went to NXT title at takeover 30, but his shoulder stopped being a shoulder.
Yeah.
And seen a lot from him. It sucks because like that's like the one drawback. But it's still like a really good debut, don't get me wrong.
He's back.
It's how you establish a new threat in the NXT division. Wins a title immediately from Keith Lee, which is like, ooh, and he was getting a mega push too. But he's back now, fortunately. End of the year coming back. He's having a big feud start 2021 with Damian Priest. So I think complete year. We might be talking about him again a year from now. So Eric, your best debut.
My best debut is I'm agreeing with Tim, Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
He just comes in, he has that sick entrance, and with Scarlett kind of adds just the value, that extra thing to it. It was a shame that he tore his shoulder popped out,
but he's back now.
Back now, and I'm excited to see what he does in 2021.
Exactly. Do you think it's going to be him versus Balor eventually, or do you think something else is going to happen?
Oh, eventually.
Yeah.
So
no faith in Kyle to win it on New Year's Evil. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he might. If they do, that'd be a huge shock. All right, Schmidt, your best debut.
I gotta say, Karrion Kross. I agree with everything Eric and
yeah, it's
Tim
3.
said.
Yeah, he's won. He's done it. Yeah, he's done it. That's 3 votes from all around the board. He's done it. He has majority. I'll say mine because I knew she wasn't going to win. Because my pick for best debut is Deonna Purrazzo over in Impact Wrestling.
Ooh.
This, I think, is kind of under the radar because, Impact doesn't get talked about a lot, as Tim and I have discussed. But she was unfortunately released back in April on what I call Black Wednesday, when, we lost a lot of talent due to budget cuts. It was a really bad day for wrestling and a lot of, the talent out there because we didn't know what was going to happen next. Someone couldn't work for her because of compete clauses, all that sort of thing. But Impact announced in May that she would be appearing for the promotion. And, man, they put a lot of stock in her. That's to say the very least. So, debuts, immediately comes in. She goes after Jordan Grace for the Knockouts Championship. They feud until Slammiversary. She has a really good match. I think it's one of the most underrated matches of the year, in my opinion, against her. She makes her tap out with a very cool Rings of Saturn looking move. Has a decent reign. We actually get to see more of her character and promo skills in Impact that we never really got to see in WWE. We knew she was a good wrestler. We just didn't get to see much else of her persona in NXT. And then she eventually would lose title to Su Yung at Bound for Glory, but she would win it back. I think 2 weeks later. I think one of their Impact Plus shows. But I think it was a very last minute call because of the Kylie Ray situation, which is very unfortunate, as we all found out. And 2021, it could be a big year for her as she's more established in Impact now. She actually won the Superstar of the Year in Impact, the overall award, which that's impressive. That someone who's only been there for a half a year has done that much already. And I don't know if those are fan voted or actually they decide, but that's really good. And I think that's just a really good start to her in Impact. But she can't win because Karrion Kross has won 3 votes, which means he has overall majority. So as much as I'd like to support Purrazzo, I can agree about this too, because it was just like such a good debut. It just sucks about the injury. It's the only like bad thing about it. But he's back now, so it may not matter like months from now. Karrion Kross easily takes it home for best debut. Congratulations to him. And finally, capping off part 1, we have the best stable. This should be a fun one. So let's go over the people who aren't here once more. Sam has picked the Fam, which is Eddie Kingston's stable. So this one, very like middle of the year. Eddie Kingston's debuts in a big way in AEW. He rounds up some friends in the Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade, and eventually the Bunny, because there was that whole thing with QT Marshall, which was actually kind of funny too, not gonna lie. And then yeah, they kind of like they're more of like a unit. There was those really cool moments with Pentagon and Eddie Kingston. You know, you're my best friend, that amazing moment. And then it all comes crashing down, though, as Pac returns and brings back the Lucha Brothers after Kingston drafts a wedge between the Lucha Brothers. But they're kind of like still together, just really small now. And they may have not won singles gold, but I think it was just kind of like the more entertaining parts of Dynamite, in support of Sam, of course. And moving over to Tim, and he has gone for the Hurt Business. This faction coming in, starting as a pairing between MVP and Lashley. You know, Lashley coming in kind of in this really weird storyline with Lana that nobody liked. None of us liked that. We had to rebook it on this podcast back in February, which was not fun. And, you know, after Mania, we see him lose to we lost to Aleister Black, sorry. And we're like, what's going to happen next for him? But then MVP, who came back at the Rumble, kind of just like lingering for a bit, comes over for manager. And, you know, he's talking to Lashley, coaching him, and this eventually grows. As in the summertime, Lashley feels like a threat again, but we're also getting in Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, we talked about earlier, kind of like getting more character, what he really needs. They turn him heel as well. And yeah, they're just a really good faction. And, you know, they feel like a complete unit. And yeah, they're working together. And it makes these 3 people who didn't really have direction for a good while, especially like Shelton and Cedric. And they all feel like important, intimidating, and like, you know, they have like some like presence on Raw now. And they're all champions except for MVP, but he's more of like the mouthpiece. They're all champions now. Lashley's been a dominant US champion. Cedric and Shelton just won the Raw Tag Team titles at TLC in a big way, beating the New Day. So yeah, that they could have like another amazing year, like a full year in 2021. Turning over to Schmidt, your best stable.
I also picked the Hurt Business for basically the same reasons as you've said. They've just been dominant, with MVP being the mouthpiece and just them all having championships now. It's just so good.
Yep. And let's turn over to Eric before we go to mine. Eric, your best stable.
I originally picked the Elite just because they're not really stable anymore, but they held
they're really kind of like their own acts.
Yeah, they held every title in AEW, but I'm gonna switch it to the Hurt Business.
It's because like they're a complete unit. That's the difference. You know, the Elite, it's cool that they were able to do all this stuff, you know. Both Omega and Hangman and the Bucks were tag champions. Cody was the first TNT champion. He was a 2-time champion too. And, you know, that's everybody, right? Yeah, that's everybody. Because Kenny and the Bucks, that's 3. Hangman 4. Formerly Hangman, and yeah, Cody as well. So yeah, they all held titles some way. A lot of overlap for the titles that they held. But yeah, if you guys don't know, I also picked the Hurt Business. If you guys couldn't tell by my explanation there, so it's this is almost a clean sweep, 4-1. So yeah, it may have only been like half the year, but still, what they did in those 6 months, they're probably like one of the few good parts of Raw right now, because like, you know, Raw is. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Hurt Business pretty handily. They take home best stable, and that is part 1 of the Shooties. So we will be right back for part 2. And welcome back to the Shooties for part number 2 of the awards ceremony. We have 5 more awards to go through, and let's just jump right back into it. Our first award of round 2 is the best wrestling YouTube personality. This one is, you know, in the content creation side. A lot of people out there creating content on wrestling in different ways, lists, reviews, WTF moments. It's one of our favorites, goes by, podcasting of their own, and so many other creative stuff that people do on the internet. Schmidt, let's start with you. I'll go over the absentee ones after.
I gotta say, mine's same as last year. I think it's Simon Miller of What Culture and Kayfabe News. He's the reason I watch Kayfabe News still, and he's the reason I still watch What Culture.
He's the one good person in What Culture, I will say that. Like, he has always been like a highlight when everybody from Cult Talk was over there too. And he seems like a nice guy. Seems like a guy I would like love to talk to. He's also a wrestler too.
Yeah.
He's in amazing shape. Let's go for the absentee people. On the absentee side, Sam has picked Ross Twiddell, the winner of last year's YouTube Personality Award. Maybe going for two this year. And yeah, someone we just, someone that we all love. He did have a really rough year personally. He took time away from Cultaholic for a brief time to really focus on his mental health. But he was welcomed back with open arms, and he's back to doing what he does best, being just one of the funniest people. He's just really funny. And he applied to be a WWE writer recently. He made that a video, and it was actually hilarious because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he applies to be a writer on LinkedIn, and then he calls back again a month, and he gets into the WWE voicemail, and he goes, "Please say who you want," and they go, "Please say who would like to talk to." Vince McMahon. Doesn't work. And then he goes, "The cerebral assassin, Triple H," and then he gets somebody else entirely different, like an actual person's name. And he's like, "I give up." And he hung up the phone. Eventually, he just gave up. But it turns out he didn't get the job because he didn't put his contact info on his application, so they didn't know how to contact him. It's actually a really funny video, though. It's fine. He's a writer, Cultaholic. It's all good. So yeah, that's Sam and Tim's picks. I'll go next. Oh wait, no, it's Tim. Oh, I forgot to say Tim. Tim's pick is Brian Zane of Wrestling with Regret. This guy, he very varied content creator. He looks back on things in wrestling, good and bad. Often does, mostly known for his pay-per-view reviews of modern and classic shows. He's currently doing the final trilogy of WCW. So he did Super Bowl Revenge, which I think was his last video. He also did, what the hell was the first? Oh, he did Sin. And his next pay-per-view review, it's going to be a classic one, is the final WCW show, Greed. And oh my god, you can see how much of a mess it was. He covers content really well. The way he edits his videos, it's really charming. Part of my influence comes from him, actually. A lot of my influence in my videos does come from his editing style. So yeah, and that leaves me next. I am in agreement with Tim. I have also picked Brian Zane. Honorable mention, though, does go to Ross for the year he had. I know he had to take time away, but it was for the better. He had a really good year. But I think for a complete year and variety standpoint, I think Zane had a really good year. He was runner-up last year, too. Yeah, he got second place, but this time I kind of want to give it to Brian Zane. So, yeah. That leaves Eric. Who is your best wrestling YouTube personality?
My best wrestling YouTube personality is the king of Shoot Style Sauna.
I'm sorry?
Did I stutter? It's the king of Shoot Style Sauna is the best YouTube personality. I
should not be in the same class as these people. I'm saying right now. Do you have a reason why?
I don't know. You're the best.
The best, as Ortiz would say. I mean, I'm happy I only got one vote here because like I said, I would not put myself in the same class as these people.
You know what? I'll change my vote to Stell.
I mean, Silent Simon. So it's 2 versus 2 now.
Oh,
it's 2 versus 2 now. It's between me and Brian Zane. Okay, so I got to think of a reason why Brian Zane is better than me. Brian Zane actually consistently uploads.
Yeah, well,
I'll say that.
I'll go with Brian Zane.
Yeah, Brian Zane. I'm like, I didn't have a full year of editing unlike him. Also, I blame me for some of the shortcomings recently. So I'm willing to selflessly put myself aside here. And Brian Zane, as I think it should be, is going to take home the Shooty for best wrestling YouTube personality. Runner-up last year, but he takes it home this year. Brian Zane takes it home. All right, after that debacle, I should not be in that conversation. Let's head over to the best finisher / doesn't have to be a finisher, the move of the year. So, pretty simple. Really cool move that you like. Yeah, maybe it puts people away. Maybe it's just really nice to look at. Starting with the absentee ballots, let's go over to Sam and Tim. Sam, interesting pick. He has picked Lance Archer's Blackout. Really cool looking Razor's Edge. It often leads to the EBD Claw. It gets it done just about every time, too. Just a really nice finisher. Pretty simple. And Tim, this is the same pick from the mid-year awards. It is, again, the Big Bang Catastrophe of Keith Lee. He's doing a spear bomb a lot more these days, but that move has also been a really protected move. Really cool. It's kind of like a modified jackhammer, basically. Puts people down. All his weight goes on them. He crushes them, basically, and he gets the win. Pretty straightforward stuff. Eric, your finisher / move of the year.
My move / finish of the year, I chose Drew McIntyre's Claymore, because he just put everyone away with it this year. I thought that was the move of the year.
It wins matches. Yeah, simple. Schmidt, and your finisher / move of the year.
My original pick was the RKO, but I gotta agree. Agree with Eric. It's the Claymore.
Where's mine? I'm trying to find where mine is on this thing. I don't think I picked the Claymore. So I'm willing to. Oh yeah, never mind. I know what my pick is. So last year's winner was Walter Chops, and I'm once again going for them because my reasoning: How about we go and watch him versus Ilya Dragunov? That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Because, yeah, those things... Ugh. However, I am down 2-1 in the call, so I have no choice. And plus, he had a complete year. We saw him all year. Put numerous people away with it. I'm willing to give this one to the Claymore. So Drew, taking home his first Shooty of the award so far. But I'm sure we'll see him again later on. Claymore. We're flying through these ones. Next up, the most underrated. Pretty straightforward. Someone you just feel is underappreciated in wrestling. And let's go over to the absentee ballots. Starting with Sam Abaddon. Interesting one. No, she's got a cool gimmick. Living dead girl,
Yeah.
walks around as a zombie.
Different.
And, we've only really seen her in AW Dark until just recently. Really just squashing people, being all creepy and stuff like that. Really, cool presentation. We just haven't seen her a lot until recently. Now she's getting a title shot this week on Dynamite at time of recording. The New Year's Smash Part 1, her against Sheeta, should be good. They've been kind of heating up the rivalry recently of her biting Sheeta on this week. Clearly a big fan of Shayna Baszler, biting Becky Lynch earlier in the year. But, she's a zombie. Shayna Baszler was supposed to be a vampire, looked like originally, but that's changed since then for the better. So yeah, interesting pick. Tim, really interesting pick here. I don't know if I agree with this either. Shotzi Blackheart is underrated, and I don't know if I agree with that, because I'll explain why later. Going over to you guys, Schmidt, you're most underrated.
Aleister Black, our last year's winner, still, because still hasn't done anything much.
Yeah, it hurts hearing that.
Mm.
I have also gone for Aleister Black, as I should say, because remember what this guy was the NXT champion. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, had a great presentation. It's such a cool theme song. The crowd would sing along with them at takeovers. He is just so effing cool, and it's just so fun to watch him in the ring. He can do everything, being really spooky, man. He has the gimmick, he has the look, he has the moveset. He's just the way he does everything. It's just so fun to watch. And now here we are. Last time we saw him, he lost to Kevin Owens on Raw. He's on SmackDown now, by the way, guys. They wouldn't mention that because he only got drafted. We haven't seen him since then. And I just feel like it's all about Selena Vega because what happened with that. That's why we haven't seen him. And I'm worried because we may not never see him again because of his contract and all that stupid stuff. And what could have been? What could have been? He was a Heyman guy too. He was in the conversation to beat Lesnar at Mania. Have you guys ever heard that story? He was one of the people they penciled in. But they went with Drew, which I think is for the better considering how Drew has done since then. And he's very charismatic too. But it's just what could have been. And when you look at Aleister Black, you think, how can they mess this guy up?
Seriously.
Put him in a room and make him not wrestle. That's how you do it. Sad. Really sad. Eric, you're most underrated.
My most underrated is the current NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Santos Escobar.
Interesting. What do you got to say?
I think he just has such an upside, and they don't really use him on NXT. And
yeah, because he won the title in a cool way.
Yeah, and he's on 205 Live, but who the hell watches 205 Live?
This is very true. I'm sorry, Scott. Scott watched 205 Live when he watched wrestling, so
I still watch
yeah,
it.
205 Live has had a hard time since the Cruiserweight Classic, and I just feel like they just need to get rid of it and just merge with NXT.
Yeah,
because there are people who are just on 205 Live, they're assigned to that page, and I'm like, what? There's 7 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had a great takeover match, takeover 31. Him versus Swerve was so good. It was actually one of the better matches on that show. That show was full of good matches, though. To be fair, it's actually one of the better shows of the year. Looking back,
yeah, but what
the
else,
guy?
But what else has he done? He hasn't barely on
Title
NXT.
defenses.
Yeah,
he has a stable.
Yeah,
the stable was so cool when it started out too. The kidnapping people, brainwashing Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. It was so cool.
Yeah,
gave him something to do. It helped them out with something to do for characters. So yeah, we just haven't seen a lot of them. He won a championship, to be fair, but he hasn't really done anything with it, unfortunately. Yeah. He is the real cruiserweight champion because he's not a domestic abuser like Jordan Devlin too. We'll give him that. So, but unfortunately, it is 2-1 in the call. But Eric, I'm sure you probably feel the same way about Aleister Black, though, right?
Yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah, it's very sad. So I think we're all okay with giving it to Aleister Black.
I'm hoping that they fix him.
2 years in a row now. He's won it 2 years in a row.
Yeah, WWE.
He won it last year too. Mid-year was Buddy Murphy. He's kind of been relevant since then, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. WWE.
So yeah, I think we just fingers crossed that next year is a better year for the guy. Because come on, guys, just it's so easy. He's so cool. Well, he was, but now
you don't have to do much with him. He'll just do it by himself.
Yeah, because he just have him just kick people. It's just so easy. I'm sure Fox would be cool, and the tattoos maybe not, but he kicks people really hard, and it's fun. All right, let's stay positive, everybody. Let's go to our next award. That's the second last one of this round. The best weekly wrestling show. So weekly episodic TV. Hope no one said Raw because I will be very concerned otherwise. So let's head over to our absentee ballots. Let's start with Sam. Sam's gone for AEW Dynamite, and Tim has gone for NXT. So the Wednesday Night Wars still being pretty strong in our Shooties Awards. Eric, head over to you. What do you got?
So I originally picked Dynamite, but then I went to SmackDown. But then I started thinking the first half of the year, it wasn't that great and everything.
So a complete year, you know?
Yeah, so then I went back to Dynamite, and Dynamite is my pick for show of the year.
Wrestling weekly show, because we have a separate category.
Weekly wrestling show, yes, Dynamite.
Weekly. Yes. Schmidt, before we get to explanations, your pick for weekly wrestling show.
I went with SmackDown because it's better than Raw right now.
It's true. And like the second half of the year for SmackDown since SummerSlam has been amazing.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel that. So my pick, first off, honorable mention, NWA Power. Miss you so fucking much, but you don't need to have a full year. My pick for weekly wrestling show, with Eric and Sam, All Elite Wrestling Dynamite. So it's a full year thing. It's a full year thing. That's the thing. But if SmackDown was this good all year, hey, it probably could have won. So it's just a complete wrestling show. You get everything on Dynamite. You get characters. You get like your work rate matches. You get storylines. You get like stuff that overlaps into each other. Like wrestlers have problems with other wrestlers when they're not feuding all the time. Just look at Eddie Kingston for like 10 people feuding at once. And you get all these big moments. Sting debuting, new champion in Kenny Omega with the big revelation after that, and everything that's happened. The only thing you can criticize for AEW right now is the women's division because it just doesn't have a lot of direction, unfortunately. They have good talent. They just don't know what to do, I feel like. And I heard that she actually drew pretty well in her segments, so that's a good sign. But they just need to address that one issue. And I think they'll be in for a more complete product in 2021 and maybe even a better year. They already had a pretty decent year as it was. But, that's how I feel. SmackDown, I will defend. Don't get me wrong. SmackDown in second half was great. They have a women's division, unlike AEW. So that's good. Yeah. And but their tag division, it's not awful, but it's just like, all right.
But WWE
Street Profits are good though, so that's always a good part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, it's 2-1 in the call. It's three votes because Sam also voted for it. So yeah, that's a decisive victory for AEW Dynamite. SmackDown, if you have a complete year next year, this could be yours. Last year's winner was NXT. NXT only gets 1 vote this year. Whew. But that's really not. It's not their fault though, because all the injuries they had. I will say that, and the pandemic really kind of take away the crowd aspect of shows, but I think they made up for it with the Capitol Wrestling Center. Moving on next to our next award, this is the final one of part 2. We'll do this a lot quicker than the last round, is the Tag Team of the Year. Your favorite tag team of the entire year. Absentee votes. Let's see, head over to them. Ooh, both Sam and Tim are in agreement. Sam and Tim agree here. Their pick is FTR. And before I go over, let's see what the rest of you have to say. What are your 2 tag team of the years? That was really poorly worded.
I'll go. So I had a tough time deciding. I just want to give an honorable mention to Dangerous Techers, the current
the IWGP champions,
tag team champions, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. They started the year off great. They had ZSJ beat Sonata, Wrestle Kingdom, and then they went on to beat the Golden Aces for the titles. Then they held the titles. Then the shutdown happened. There was a 3 or 4 months, and then they came back. New Japan Cup. They both knocked out Tanahashi and Ibushi from the New Japan Cup, and then they've just defended against everybody. They didn't win the World Tag League, but still
they had a defense out of it coming up against God.
Yeah, still had a great final with God. Oh no, that was Finn Juice. Never mind.
The Wrestle Kingdom is the title match with
yes,
with God,
and then we got.
Which I don't think they're winning.
Yeah. But still, they've had a great year. But so for my official tag team of the year, it's FTR because you got to think about all year.
Yeah, they've won. It's three votes. They've won. Well, Schmidt, what was your tag team of the year?
My tag team of the year was the Street Profits, just because.
I mean, that's a good pick.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, it's a good pick.
They've done well all year.
They've been a highlight, I think, of most shows. Because they've been on Raw and SmackDown at this point. They're really charismatic. They make you laugh, and they're really good in the ring too. They've been champions for a lot of the year too. Won the belts in a big way at a pay-per-view against Rollins and Murphy. Defended the belts. They got drafted to SmackDown. They had that weird exchange with the New Day, but it made sense. Then they have the big win against the New Day at Survivor Series to really establish themselves as like the future of the tag division. And yeah, I'm sure they'll be together for a while, but I think if the day comes when they split, I do think Montez Ford is going to be like the breakout star of that group. He's going to have
It's
like an amazing singles career.
it's WWE. They're gonna split up soon.
Sad. Yeah, just look at all
Oh.
we lost the Iconics this year and
Don't-
all other tag teams.
Don't split
So,
'em.
ooh, they're gonna do like Shad Gaspard style. He's gonna turn on Angela's gonna turn on Montez
Yeah.
and get that kind of feud out of it. which I'm gonna be sad.
No,
But I want to ask Ross. Ross made a good point about this. Should Angelo Dawkins be a heel? Because whenever he comes on air, he does that thing, and that's so bloody annoying. When you go back and watch.
yes, he should be a heel.
Imagine him going on TV every week doing that for like 10 minutes, and then get people to boo him. It's also it's just a funny question to think about, though. But that leaves me. They're not gonna win, but my pick. They were the mid-year winners. I'm gonna go for Kenny Omega and Hangman Page as my tag team. Look, they're not together now. I get that, but what they did this year was, I said in my championship of the year pick, they did some amazing things this year. Won the titles in a big way. The Jericho Cruise had some amazing title defense and had that great story with the Elite. I already said it earlier, but it's such a great rivalry they had with a lot of people. Overlapping story. The way they lost the belts to FTR, the manipulation of Hangman Page, Kenny walking out on his partner afterwards after Hangman tried to embrace him. A sad moment. It all came to a head at Full Gear in their great singles match to open the show. But of course, I can't do anything because they've won 3-1. It's just, Eric, you want to talk about why? They kind of cut you off there.
So why FTR? Because you talk about all these tag teams in AEW. You talk about Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, SCU. The one thing that they all have in common is they had a feuds with FTR. If it wasn't for FTR, we wouldn't have the stories with Hangman and Adam Page. If it wasn't for FTR, we wouldn't have that great match with the Young Bucks. It's because of FTR that all of that happened.
It's true. They were like, the way they came in too was so cool. Like
Yeah.
the truck driving into Daly's place, just walking in, staring down the Young Bucks. They didn't fight right away, which is cool. They had a slow burn to it. And the match they had at Full Gear was, like I said, that's the reason why the tag belts won championship of the year, because they just made those belts feel so important for every champion that had them. They made the belts important. Great matches. The Brush of Greatness, whatever it was called, like the exhibition matches with the other tag teams when they were champions. It was just a short reign, sadly. But I think it won't be the only time they're with those belts, because they're signed there. And next year for FTR, they also are going to be probably facing Impact tag teams like the North. So it's going to be a really good year for them. And also on the PWI tag team ranking, FTR was number 1.
Yep, first ever.
So yeah, they had that going for them too. It just sucks. I just feel like from a total year, I think you could say Omega Man, but it's just that last quarter of the year they weren't a thing anymore, which is why you can also argue FTR. So it's really, because neither team had a complete year, but it's what they did. So yeah, it's only me on this one, but yeah, FTR are going to take the tag team of the year in this one. I think it's just, I can't do anything. It's 3 against 1. And I'm sorry, Schmidt too, but the Profits are great too. They're probably the best tag team over there. And Street Profits back up. Probably the best call up from NXT in like years. I think we mentioned that last time too. So yeah, I think they might have done more in the main roster than never in NXT.
Yeah.
I feel like when you think of them, you just think of what they've done. But yeah, that is part 2. We're going to go over to a quick sponsor break. Like last time, our sponsor for this episode of the Shoot Style Sauna are StreamBeats. Those who don't know, StreamBeats are copyright-free music that you can use in any form of content, whether in your YouTube videos, your Twitch streams, or just to hang out and chill. There are 4 genres, of a 5th one coming very, very soon in lo-fi, synthwave, EDM, and hip-hop beats, with a new genre called StreamBeats Rock coming out very soon. We'll get the release date for that on New Year's Eve from Harris Heller and Ryan King, also known from the record label called Senpai Records. So, again, you can go to a link in the description below where we will have links to StreamBeats on Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you can listen to. You can listen to it pretty much on any platform you can listen to music. It's free. Totally, if you want to use it in your content, just download the license. It's totally free. You will not get DMCA struck in this age where copyright law is really being cracked down on a lot of content creation channels. But again, StreamBeats, link in the description below. Use it. Copyright-free music. You will not get in trouble. And it's a pretty nice music just to go and relax to. But yeah, again, check it out in the description below to use StreamBeats. After that quick breather, let's do some more awards. Going into part 3, we went to part 2 pretty quickly, so let's go to part 3 right now. The first one of part 3 is the best entrance. Best entrance is, it can be either a big entrance at a pay-per-view or just an entrance in general. It's really your pick there. Let's go over absentee picks on the people who aren't here side. Sam, Orange Cassidy. I mean, it's just a funny entrance, Comes out, doesn't care. Rolls in the ring, does this. Doesn't care. But Tim, and this is also my pick, Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 14. A beautiful entrance. This is how you present your superstar to look like a god, and it sets the tone for the match that's about to happen.
Absolutely.
And oh my frick! And commentary sell it so well too, because they're just like, what? When it all after he's walking down the ramp, he's got the glow in the dark jacket. The money's raining down after like the cool intro, and you can tell that this guy is the ace of the promotion. This guy is about to put on like an amazing match against Kota Ibushi.
Tanahashi's still the ace, but
I mean, yeah, Tanahashi, but Okada like in the modern day, like after
guy.
Tanahashi,
he's the top guy. He's their guy.
He is like the guy. That's what he is. Eric, I think you agree with me on that one.
I
Is
agree.
that correct?
Absolutely. You had the holographic rain coming down on him, and then he's coming out, with the umbrella because he's the rainmaker. And then he
takes it off.
Those two statues that Ibushi was talking about in the promo, and he destroys them. And then he does like that thing with the umbrella where it blocks him out, and then like suddenly he just switches to his actual gear. It's like, oh,
it's him. The shooting of that was, and that all happened live too, which is so cool too. And like that, I've seen like a video of like the crowd like a live in person recording. It looks even cooler because like the people got to see that happen in front of them. The reaction, commentary, so like I said, commentary did such a good job selling it, and they all big up Okada's like stats and all that stuff to back him up. Like this guy, this is who we believe in. And then he won that match that night too. Didn't win the next night, but he won on that night when the entrance happened. That's what matters. So yeah, this is almost decisively won this category because it's 3 votes. Schmidt, what was your entrance of the year?
My entrance was Drew McIntyre's new entrance with the sword.
That's a great entrance.
Because
that's a really cool entrance.
So fucking cool.
Comes out with the big sword.
He just
has the cool pyro when he like throws it in the ground. It's a great entrance. Don't get me wrong. But
awesome.
It's that majority thing again. We have 3 votes for this entrance. I'm sorry, but it's too. I've watched like so many times yesterday because it's such a good entrance. And like I said, it's how you make your top guy look like a god at your biggest show of the year. The most important thing, because it's a media entrance basically. Just with the New Japan spin on it. That's what it is. Please go and watch it. It's just
amazing.
Words can't do it justice. It's so good. So let me get that in there. Best entrance decisively goes to Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 14 in that amazing entrance. Poor Ibushi, man. he just wanted to win it for his friend. All right, moving on next. Let's go to alignments. Let's start with the Best Babyface Award. So yeah, this one there are no agreements on, I'm pretty sure. I've seen the ballots. There are no agreements here. So let's go to the absentee ballots. Best Babyface to them. Sam has picked Drew McIntyre. So yep, had a really good run in the COVID era. He in the COVID era really carried the company really well. Good face. Yeah, just did a really good job. Good champion, fighting champion. Stands up for the brand. Had a really good feud with Roman Reigns and Randy Orton over like being like the face of the company, standing up for people, that sort of thing. And Tim, good pick. Darby Allin. I like that pick because really likable guy, cool character, really eerie. He kind of gets bullied on by a lot of people, especially Team Taz. Yeah, he's just really fun to watch, really energetic. Seen him live when we went to DYNAMITE, Eric. Of course, really fun time there. So yeah, good pick too. Schmidt, your best babyface.
My best babyface was originally Apollo Crews because I couldn't think of anybody.
I mean, he had a decent year, not gonna lie, until like SummerSlam happened.
But now I gotta agree. I think it's Drew McIntyre because I forgot he was babyface for a second.
What? Did you see how he won the Rumble? That was such babyface fashion too.
I forgot.
I mean, he had a great year. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just a really good babyface year. That's like a good way to build a babyface, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eric, go over to you. Your best babyface. Remember, this is a really interesting pick.
So so for my babyface, I wanted to do something different. So I looked towards Impact Wrestling, and I chose Eddie Edwards.
Yes, bit out of left field. Tim didn't even pick him.
He has been on top of Impact Wrestling all year, and he's a true fan favorite. Everyone was excited to see when he finally won the Impact World title. Everyone was happy for him. And just even the feud he still has, even though it's not for the title, people still cheer.
Look at Eric Young, like that when he lost the title.
Yeah.
So like he remains relevant even without a title, which that's a sign of a good babyface too.
Exactly.
They keep you invested in what they do. We've seen that a lot in WWE. We've seen a lot in AEW. A couple people like Cody without a title, he has some big feuds. So yeah, it's a pretty good pick. I like that. It's different. So that leaves me. There are no agreements here, so let's go down to me. My best babyface. Let's go over to AEW. It's Hangman Page. And here's why. I just think Hangman is probably the most relatable babyface we've had in 2020. The guy, he has flaws, like a lot of us do. Sure, he likes to drink. He likes to drink a lot. Yes, and it causes problems between him and the Elite. Matt doesn't like it, and we saw what happened with that. But, he just wants to have friends, too. Kenny, the Bucks, somebody. He doesn't have any friends now, and it makes me really sad because he has nobody to go to about his problems. Sure, Dark Order are trying, but we're not getting there yet. We'll have it eventually. But, and he had such a good year in the tag division as tag team champion. He makes you feel for him because, remember when the Bucks kicked him out of the Elite and there's that shot of Hangman looking in the shattered mirror and how devastated he looked? That it just hit me, and I've been saying all year, I'm just on his side. I've always been on the guy's side in this whole Elite feud because everything that's happened. He knows he's made mistakes. He wants to make up for it. We've seen him being the Elite. He just wants to make amends with the Bucks, and something always gets in the way. Whether it's Brandon Cutler, he has something with his phone. He lost his phone one time, or the Bucks are talking to somebody, and then when he doesn't want to interrupt them. When he wanted to celebrate with the Bucks after they won the belts, they sang "No Time for Losers" from "We Are the Champions," and Hangman heard that and he walked away really sad, and sad music started playing in the background. So. And you could also argue that he shouldn't have hung out with FTR and got manipulated, but he didn't know. He didn't want to fight the Bucks again after what happened at Revolution. Everything was happening around him, so he cost them the match. But he regretted that. Like I said, and he wants to make amends. So he's really relatable, and I feel for him. And I'm always going to be on the guy's side, and that's why Hangman Page is my best babyface for 2020. What do you guys think?
I think that's a good choice. I definitely think if the pandemic didn't happen and he could still take fans' beers, I think it would have been much better because that's just
the crowd surfing when he won.
That's such a great gimmick.
It's the crowd surfing when he won too, because you could see how over he was.
Yeah,
Revolution, it was really coming together. He was showing his strides as a babyface and showing how much it was going to work. But then, the world caught fire. Sadly, that's the one drawback you can have, and the whole FTR thing is you can argue you shouldn't have been manipulated like that. So it's got to be. There can only be one. What do we all think as a group here? Because everybody has a different vote.
Well, I think didn't Schmidt change this to Drew McIntyre?
No, he said all right, shit.
Yeah.
Because you had Apollo Crews, so if we want to go majority, then it has to be Drew then because it's 2.
Yeah.
Because Sam and Schmidt. I'm sorry, Hangman. Now I'm sad because Hangman didn't win an award. Now I'm sad. I'm sorry, man. God damn it. He's a loser again. Poor guy. Drew McIntyre takes it home for best. That's just a really good year for a babyface in general, though. Mm-hmm. All right, now let's go to the other side of the dynamic and be a complete asshole and pick the best heel. All right, let's go to the absentee ballots. Our best heel from people who aren't here. Sam, MJF, last year's winner. Just a solid pick, yeah. Despicable. Mm-hmm. And there's the big feud with Moxley was really good. And yeah, he's kind of remained relevant. He's being an asshole in the inner circle still. There was a really cool moment this week in Dynamite, though, where he showed some empathy. But still, hey, good pick. Can't go wrong. And Randy Orton. Yeah, just another safe pick.
Solid.
Yeah, we talked about the mid-year awards. He won the mid-year award, too, I think, for best heel.
He did.
Yeah, so it's really safe pick. Good one there. So let's go over to... All right, Schmidt, let's try this again. Who is your best heel of 2020?
Roman Reigns. Just because if I don't say it, I feel like he's going to kill me because he's the head of the table. And
if you disagree with that guy, good luck.
Yeah, you don't mess with that man.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. So, Eric, head over to you. Your best heel.
My best heel is the Switchblade Jay White.
He makes you hate him. He does his job so well.
Oh my god,
he does such a good job.
It's such old school true heat that he has over in Japan. He is literally the most hated man in Japan. He stole the Wrestle Kingdom 14 title opportunity at Kota Ibushi, shocked everybody. Always, it's just being a dick and an asshole to everybody.
You want to punch him in the face.
You want to, but it still makes me laugh sometimes because if he wins a main event and he's talking to the crowd, he speaks English and to talking to the Japanese audience, and he just starts clapping, and then they just clap along with him, and it's the funniest thing.
That's so mean.
Oh, but yeah, Jay White, he is definitely best heel of 2020.
It's a good pick. So that leaves me. I am in agreement with Schmidt here. I've also picked Roman Reigns because, it is the full year thing. That is a criticism you can have. It's not a full year because it was only the last 4 months. But what he's done in those 4 months, we've been saying for years, turn Roman heel. Look what will happen. And wow, we were right, weren't we? Mm-hmm. Because you turn the guy heel, and it's just him as a person. If you piss him off, elevated to 11. on screen, because he comes back in a big way. He immediately buries Braun Strowman, saying, "I made you. That's all you are. You are nothing." And he looks at the Fiend, who's pretty much, he's like a tweener at this point. He's kind of a babyface now. He looks at him and he goes, "You're just a freak in the mask. This has always been mine." He holds up the belt, wins the belt the next week in pretty heelish fashion. So it's solidified. He's a Paul Heyman guy now. He's an asshole. And then the feud with Jey Uso happened. We've already talked enough about that. It's a great feud. All stuff happened in that. He's just being an asshole. And the big moments that really sold that feud as a heel for Roman is the Hell in a Cell match. Jimmy Uso comes down. He embraces Roman, but it's all a ruse. And he chokes Jimmy, who's injured, in front of his brother. And that is what made Jay quit, is his family's safety, because he didn't want to see his injured brother get hurt more. And a complete asshole that Roman Reigns did that. And everything he's done since then, stuff with Drew was great. He he drew a dagger and Drew for like a promo they did saying, "You just hold that title because I wasn't here," that sort of thing. And then, well, Roman beat him. Sure, it was nefarious because of what happened in that match, but still he won. And yeah, stuff with Kevin Owens is great too. And there was that great promo they did on SmackDown where they're in the ring. There's an interview segment, and then Kayla's in the ring. And Owens is like, "Oh, let's fight Kevin Owens." I mean, no, Kayla goes, "Let's fight Roman. I want to fight right now." And then Roman looks at him and goes, "Kevin, there's a woman in the ring. We don't fight around a lady, you idiot." And that, it's just like, it's just such good character work. And like I said, this could have been like 4 years ago. We waited all this time, and now we're getting it. Eric, your defense.
My defense. But the thing is, like, so Roman's supposed to be hated, but I like him. I hate Jay White.
Shit, that's right.
I mean, I like Jay White as like
now we like him.
but to get a whole country of wrestling fans to despise you, that is real heel heat. That
true. Whereas
no one in
Roman's really one of his family.
I don't think anyone in WWE can get because of their restrictions.
No one's actually there. But like they pipe in booth, that's not actually real. So oof. But it's 2-1 majority in the call. Everyone else, it's other people, Sam and Tim over somebody else.
If it's majority, then it's majority.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Eric, but like it's a really good case. Like we can give him the silver towel like we did to somebody else earlier. So he wins by majority, but really we'll see what happens next year. We got a full year ahead of us. Roman Reigns just takes it home. We'll give an HM to Jay White. I'll edit in a picture of Jay White in the corner saying like he had second place.
And then he's going to roll Roman up, put his feet on the ropes, and steal that gold towel.
And steal the Universal title. What's Jay White's contract? Is his contract going to be up soon?
I don't know.
He's using his hashtag called Last Rock and Roll, and I'm like, does that mean he's going to leave if he doesn't win? I could see him in WWE, I'm not going to lie, because I feel like he actually could work pretty well. Like for like their environment. Mm-hmm. Really character focused, asshole, that sort of thing. Can really cut promos on people. It couldn't be bad. All right. Moving on to the second to last award in round 3, we have the best promotion. So the best company you thought had in 2020. So looking over to our absentee, Sam has picked AEW. Tim has picked NXT. Let's go over to Schmidt. Your best promotion in 2020.
WWE SmackDown.
So the brand itself, okay.
Yeah.
NXT won last year, so that's totally valid too. And NXT is in here again from Tim. So I'll disagree. So everyone has a different one so far. Eric, your best promotion.
My best promotion is New Japan Pro Wrestling. These are my reasons. They consistently have great matches. They have great, the best tournaments in wrestling, the best rivalries and stories, and you get invested in those rivalries and stories. But the stat that I want to really focus on is this: 73,000 plus, way more plus now, fans have attended New Japan shows with 0 new COVID cases.
This is true. This fact was shared last time on the podcast.
It's a stat that is astounding, and it's amazing that they're able to do that. That's a testament to the company and to the New Japan fans themselves.
Mm-hmm. And exercising the right precautions for COVID-19, considering we are still in this pandemic, even with vaccines slowly on the way for some people. Mm-hmm. Other places might be getting them at different times, but still, it is impressive that they've been able to do that in these crazy times, especially since they actually just locked down Japan again because of the new COVID strain. So we'll see what happens with Wrestle Kingdom because it's coming up very, very soon. But I'm curious to see what that's going to look like, what they have a plan for that. That leaves me, and I am in agreement with Sam here and have also gone for AEW, but I kind of want to give the edge to New Japan for that big stack, because AEW do have fans at their shows, don't get me wrong, but of course it's way more limited and it's in a smaller venue because, they're only in Daly's place and you can only have so many fans in it once. They increase it for pay-per-views, don't get me wrong, but still, this is really tough because it's all different in the call, but the majority would say 2 for AEW, but Sam isn't here. If he was here, that'd be different, but, Schmidt, what about you? What are you thinking after hearing that?
I gotta give it. I after hearing that, I gotta go with New Japan because the 0 new COVID cases thing. Like,
Has Dynamite had any?
Well,
I'm trying to think if AEW have had any aside from like talent ones, but that's from outside of it.
Yeah, well, I mean it's Florida, so who knows?
Yeah, Florida is also not a state we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't heard any coming from Dynamite tapings, so that's the only thing. But they have talent. They have talent pull out of shows for COVID reasons, but it's usually not involved with like the environment they're in. Because I think they play things very safe at Daly's place, but. It's 2-2 now, but Sam isn't here to back me up. So, yeah, I think with that stat in mind, and, like, they've had a pretty good in-ring proc this year, I think. Especially on par for AEW at the very least. But, yeah, I think I'm willing to concede here and give the award to New Japan for best promotion.
Hell yeah.
New Japan Pro Wrestling. And that leaves the final award of this round. Our first, big award. This is the Women's Superstar of the Year. Last year's winner was Becky Lynch. Pretty unanimous too, and now here we are again with this year's Superstar of the Year for women's. Let's go to the absentee ballots, and our picks are from the 2 people. Sam has gone with Asuka. Bailey is Tim's pick, so it's 1-1. Eric, your Women's Superstar of the Year.
My Women's Superstar of the Year, I'm agreeing with Sam, is Asuka. Throughout 2020, she was really the glue that held WWE together. She was basically on top of Raw women's division the whole year. She's been Raw women's champion since after Money in the Bank when Becky had to give it up.
Yeah, and she did lose it for a bit, and she won it back at SummerSlam.
Yeah, and then she's basically at this point a 2 or 3-time women's tag team title throughout this year.
It's 2.
She
just won it back. Yep.
Yeah, and she's just been on top throughout the whole year and been consistently good, consistently entertaining, and just the constant throughout this whole year has been Asuka.
All right. Schmidt, your Women's Superstar of the Year.
I went with Sasha Banks because of
this is another. There are some people that could win this award, and she's also another one.
Yeah, she's just been great all year with the stuff with Bailey in the first part of the year, and then her that turn on her, and then her throughout the rest of the year. Her match with Carmella at TLC, it was just really good.
Anything else to add?
No, not really.
That leaves me. So I am in agreement with Tim. I've gone for Bailey like I did in the mid-year awards. So Bailey, for me, she was Sam said it in his Most Improved that, she had that criticism saying, is she really been a good heel? But this year really showed that she grew into her role and carried that title and the company in the pandemic era just as well as Asuka did, I think, with how they treated, with how they treat everything, their character work, working together with Sasha as the unit, double champion at this point this year too. Also like Asuka though, because she just won the belt as Raw Women's Champion too, so they both have been double champion. She held it with Sasha. They had that great. It was a brief reign, but they made him really valuable. They defended the belts across all 3 brands: Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Defended the belts against Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox in a really good match, I thought. And yeah, it's a really strong year. Good matches, especially in the second half of the year. Really good character work. The big turn on Sasha after they lost the belts to Baszler and Nia on SmackDown. They really stepped the blood feud for Hell in a Cell. Lost the title in grand fashion at Hell in a Cell against Sasha Banks in one of the better matches of that card and also the year. More about that in my top 10 list. And yeah, just a really solid year. Now, she may have not been champion since then. Really kind of going to the mid card on SmackDown, but she's still relevant. She's working with new talent. She's working a lot with Bianca Belair and their feud right now, helping elevate her stock, costing each other matches, stuff like that. The cap didn't work for Survivor Series, which is pretty funny. Bragging about how she's the captain, but the first one eliminated, unfortunately. But she's still kind of bigging that up as a delusional heel, so it kind of works for her character. And also named number 1 on the PWI Women's 100. Another big thing about her year. That's a stat that she has going for her. So a really complete year for Bailey, I think. Even though right now she's kind of in the mid card, she still has done a lot since losing the belt and has remained relevant throughout the whole year. So that is my pick. So it's 2-2-1. This is actually really hard because this really, like I said, it's really could be any of those 3 people.
Yeah.
And I am willing to put my money on Bailey because I think if Sasha kind of had the same push that Bailey had, she could have easily taken it because of her work rate she's had. But if she was champion the whole year, I think it would have been her. but because of what Bailey's been able to do and really grow into her role in the past year, that's why I went with her. Asuka, the same deal. She's had a really good year in the ring, had some great matches with Becky, Bailey, Sasha, pretty much all the horsewomen, basically. Raw Women's Champion, Money in the Bank winner, now double champion with Charlotte, so, the double champion thing comes up again. So, really, Schmidt, as like the outlier out, what do you think?
Well, I do think Asuka has been very good the whole year, but Bailey has also improved that much. But I gotta give it to Asuka because she has done very well throughout the rest of the year.
My thing with Asuka is that I feel like her booking as champion has not been very strong. Because when she was given the belt, she did not have the best of luck with her early days in the reign. The stuff with Nia didn't really go anywhere. She lost the belt in a really weird way to Sasha in that count out, which I thought was strange. She did win the belt back to be fair in a good match. That made up for it. But the fall for her, I thought, was relatively weak. Stuff against Lena was really short, and the match was short. Wasn't even on Hell in a Cell. Lost to Sasha at Survivor Series, which is why Sasha makes a good case for Superstar. And she wasn't on TLC either. Oh, no, she won the belt to TLC. What am I saying? She's not a singles defense. And her direction, I just feel like, has not been as strong as Bailey, which is why I picked Bailey. But it's 3-2 now. I can't really say anything. So, yikes, champ. All right. With that in mind, the Women's Superstar of the Year, she retains from the mid-year, goes to Asuka. I should probably give an honorable mention to Io Shirai because I feel like she had a really good year in NXT, but no one's really mentioned her.
I'm surprised you didn't, Matt. I thought you were going to mention her.
No, yeah, honorable mention, though. I just think Bailey had a more complete year than her. Because, like, Bailey's had a story on, like, Io Shirai. Io Shirai's kind of doing, like, the work rate, defending against all comers kind of thing. And she just needs, like, a big story, then it can, like, really complete her reign. Because that's what Shan had. Shan had a good story when she was champion in NXT. That's, like, the one thing she needs is just a good story. But maybe we'll get there in 2021, She's probably, like, number 3 or 4 if I had to rank people this year. All right, that's part 3. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. And we are back as we enter the second half of the show. We're getting towards the end. 10 awards left, some big ones coming up. And let's kick off in a big way with our next award, the best moment of 2020. Go to our absentee ballots once more. Over to best moment. Where is it on here? There it is. Sam, Edge return. Really hard one to beat. And Tim, let's see, where are you? I was just on there. Roman Reigns' return to SummerSlam. Solidified the heel turn. Pretty solid. I think it's led to more since then, but I think it's not a bad pick. Schmidt, your best moment of 2020.
Mine is a recent one. It's a very recent one. It's the Fiend getting set on fire.
It's a really cool visual. I can't deny it's a really cool visual.
But like, hey, it's really cool visual. It also shows that WWE is kind of serious about putting more mature stuff on TV.
It's true.
And it shows that we're getting a new era of WWE, as some fans have dubbed it the passive aggression era.
That's a good actually dub for that. Yeah. So, and plus it lets somebody die in the ring. So yeah, there's that to it as well. All right. Anything else to add?
No.
To me, it's pretty straightforward. So, all right, Eric, your best moment. You did win the mid-year for this one. Do you still stand by it?
I do stand by it. My best moment of the year is still the Undertaker AJ Styles Boneyard match, but I'm also adding the Undertaker's retirement as well, kind of putting them together.
Yeah, kind of lumps in together.
Because, the Undertaker retiring, it's you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
30 years. My best moment does come from that too. It comes from Survivor Series mainly. My pick for best moment is Paul Bearer as a hologram appearing in the final farewell.
Oh my God, that's when I got a lump in my throat.
Yeah, that was the technology behind it, how they shot it. He gets on one knee, and then there he is, just a hologram. It just shows how far we've come in technology too. It was just it's beautiful. People were talking about it all the time, how that's like holy crap, it hits you right in the heart. And that was their last visual of Taker before he walked up the ramp, sharing it with his manager, and just a beautiful moment. So, considering that Eric and I have very similar picks, we just lump it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Undertaker's retirement. We'll just call it Undertaker's retirement.
Yeah.
Pretty easy one. Yep, because it's just a really good way to go out. I just hope that's it.
His whole
that's it.
Like this whole culmination of it. It started with the Boneyard match. Then we had the Last Ride documentary series, and then we had the Survivor Series final goodbye. Like
the best part about Survivor Series though was Kane coming out in full costume.
And everyone's
wearing suits.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a mask. He's staying away from it. That was so funny. Because everyone else was like, we're all in suits. We're having a good time. Kane just comes out, music and everything, Gimmick, and he just stands away from everybody. It's
Well,
too
I mean,
fucking funny.
Henry Godwin was kind of gimmicked. He was wearing the
Oh, yeah, he had the overalls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I just love that image of everybody in the ring and Kane just in the side of the ring. You're nobody. It's so funny. All right, pretty straightforward. Now let's go over to this next one is best return. So I want everybody on the count of 3 to say your best return. 1, 2, 3.
Edge.
Yep. All right, moving on. Easy. Can't beat that. 9 years. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So best gimmick is our next pick. Last year's winner, I believe, was the Fiend. Over to our absentee ballots for best gimmick this year. Agreement on this one. Sam and Tim have both picked Orange Cassidy for best gimmick.
I would have. I'm gonna.
Oh, Eric wants to go first.
I would have to agree. I chose Orange Cassidy as well.
He's won. Yeah, he's won. It's 3 votes. He's won. All right, Schmidt. What was your best gimmick of 2020?
Mine was last year's winner, the Fiend, because you can't beat a classic.
Yeah, it was a decent year.
You can.
Let's just forget how it starts. But after that, Mania on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Had a cool match with Cena. Then I think he killed Cena. Is he dead?
I'd assume so. I haven't heard from him for a
In
while.
kayfabe, I don't know what happened to him. So I guess we might never see him again. Hopefully, if they bring him back, hopefully it's some really cool way. He finds his way out of the funhouse, and we see him again. That'd be funny.
That'd be
All right.
funny.
So my best gimmick was Roman Reigns, but we can make the argument here wasn't a full year.
Nope.
Orange Cassidy was. Orange Cassidy beat Chris Jericho too, twice.
Yes.
He beat him twice. And he didn't pin him. He pinned him once. But that time was just really funny because it was a funny gimmick match. Yeah, Orange Cassidy, just really funny. Doesn't care. But when he does try, he turns it on.
I mean, you think he doesn't care and you think he's not gonna have these great matches, but then he had that match with Pac at Revolution.
Oh, that was the best comedy match of the year, I think.
That was the biggest surprise I think of that night.
Yeah, because Tim and I watched. Is this the co-main event? What's going? It's going to be a squash match. No, it's like a 15-minute comedy match. I'm like, what is going on? And the crowd lost their mind too.
Yeah, that added to it.
That was insane. Just imagine in a non-COVID world where Jericho versus Orange Cassidy happened. What could have been? What could have been? Man, it was still good. It was still good. We had that funny moment with the orange juice poured on the inner circle. Yeah, and Ortiz fell over. That was good. Yeah, so 3 votes, Orange Cassidy just takes it home. This one's going fast. This might be the quickest round at this rate. All right. Next up, the breakout star of the year. Someone we didn't know a lot about the start of the year, and now we know a lot more about them, and they might be in for a bigger 2021. Absentee votes. Sam, Eddie Kingston. Very, very good pick. He's been around for a while, though, but, on TV, not really. So, and Tim, this one I'm in agreement with. Shotzi Blackheart. This is the mid-year winner, and this is also my pick for Black Breakout Star of the Year. I'm going to get my notes up. I have a thing to why. So, Shotzi Blackheart came into WWE. She was a standout independent wrestler, working for Evolve, I believe. And also appeared on Impact not too long before she got signed. We saw a glimpse of her against Bianca Belair around this time last year. It's like, all right, she can work. All right. But then things picked up in January where in a battle royal, she eliminated Shayna Baszler, which is like, whoa, what's going on here? This is big. Then appeared in the Women's Royal Rumble. So it's like, okay, they clearly have stock in her. And then she really starts to break out some more TV matches, get some good stuff. And she did a gauntlet match in March, which really added to her stock more. She tapped out 4 people, I think, before losing to Dakota Kai via shenanigans. Summertime, she wins her first takeover match, Takeover in Your House. Taz has a great tag team match against Bayley and Sasha for the tag belts with Tegan Nox, where she really was the star of that match, I thought. Sticking out, high-octane offense, moving around the ring really well, working with Sasha really well. In the fall, she kind of entered a feud with Candice LeRae around Halloween Havoc. They've kind of been feuding ever since then. But the thing about her, you guys can argue that she doesn't win too much. That's the big thing about her.
Yeah.
But she does make herself stand out with her character, her presentation, her gimmick. She really catches your eye when you see her wrestle. I think with what's coming up for her next year, I think she could be her big year where she wins some more, maybe gets a NXT Women's, because she never got a title shot this year. She never did. She did face Io Shirai, which I think is her big stand-up moment because she hung with the champion. It was a really good match on TV. I think it's actually one of the better TV matches this year. But, I think if she wins some more next year, definitely could be her year. But she had a really good foundation year for herself in NXT. So that's 2 votes for her from me and Tim. That leaves you guys. Schmidt, your breakout star of the year.
I gotta agree. I think it's Shotzi Blackheart.
Ooh, I'm sorry, Eric. That's 3 votes then. Anything to add?
She's just had a good year.
I will say I have an honorable mention. That's El Desperado. That's my honorable mention because he had a really good
He had
year.
a very, very good year. And
his
that
best of Super Juniors was amazing.
Oh,
he almost won the thing.
that finals where he took off his mask. It's like, oh
yeah, he's my honorable mention because he had a great year.
Yeah.
He has a big title defense coming up wrestling him for the junior tag titles. Do you think he'll retain, Eric, or do you think he's going to lose? Because they're facing it. Yeah, because it's Taguchi Japan, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go back to the topic. Eric, what was your breakout star of the year? Or
so,
who, I should say.
I had a really tough time picking one person. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, that's right. You had 3 on your ballot. I forgot that. That's what I saw.
I'm definitely taking out one of them. I'm gonna leave it with just 2. I'm gonna let you guys pick my final decision.
It doesn't matter at this point,
my first choice was Show.
That's a great pick.
His tag team partner Yo was sidelined with an injury during the New Japan Cup right as they came back. Then he had an incredible match at Dominion with Shingo for the never openweight title, even though he didn't win,
but that was a good match.
And then he had an amazing Best of Super Juniors tournament, and he really became one of the biggest stars in the junior heavyweight division and in Chaos alone. So that, and I think we see a lot of great things from him in the future because he's still really young.
Yeah, he's in his 20s, or is he in his
still
30s?
In his 20s.
Insane. I always liked him more too. I remember I was watching Jack the Jobber talk about like wrestlers of the week. He's like, oh, Shingo won the belt. I hope he loses the show from Roppongi 3K. And I'm like, oh, that's like when Shingo first won the belt too. So it's like you could see people had stock in him for so long.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's a good pick. And your other one?
My other one was from the best the best recruiter in the Dark
Is
Order.
It Johnny Hungee?
Jon Silver.
Johnny Hungee. This guy. Man. Jon Silver had a year. Eric, talk about it.
He's like literally the best thing of being the elite. And then that definitely translated into the ring because like he was starting to get more opportunities, more bigger matches.
Match with Orange Cassidy.
Even though like he's in a tag team with Alex Reynolds, and Alex Reynolds is really just kind of there, but it's Jon Silver. He's
good at tap dancing. I've shown him being the elite.
Yeah, but Jon Silver is the best thing about being the elite for sure.
He won a championship this year too, so BTE champion.
Yes, he did.
He did, so he has that going for him. But unfortunately, because majority, I'm sorry, those are both great picks. Don't get me wrong. I probably would have thought of Jon Silver as an honorable mention, but I think Desperado kind of outclassed him, even though he didn't win a title. He just had a really good year. But tough one, competitive class, but majority 3 votes go to Shotzi Blackheart, and she takes it home. But hey, there's a lot of good people out there. You can't forget about all the people who had some really good years, even in this crazy COVID era that we are in. Honorable mentions go to everybody else there: Silver, Show, and Desperado as well. I almost forgot because I picked him for a second. But yeah, so really competitive year. Who knows what 2020 will hold for all of those people? More championships, hopefully, and we'll see what happens for other people coming up. All right, the final award for round 4. Another big one. This is the men's superstar of the year, so strictly the males. So let's go over to our absentee ballots. Men's superstar, Sam, Drew McIntyre. Good pick. So, and heading over Tim, Roman Reigns. Let's go over to Eric, your men's superstar of the year.
Drew McIntyre.
Let me vote for him. Pretty simple. I mean, we are talking about a lot this call.
Yeah.
Schmidt, your men's superstar of the year.
Roman Reigns.
Oh, God.
I'm in agreement with Schmidt here as well.
Oh.
I've also picked Roman Reigns, but this is another hard one because like it's the thing. Roman was gone for about a couple months. It was 4 months away. But the year didn't start bad for Roman Reigns, I will say. There was a feud with King Corbin. I know that was a bad time for a lot of people, but I think he was the last guy eliminated from the Rumble. Drew won that match, though, so good points to Drew there. Roman was going to do that feud against Goldberg. Remember, Eric and I booed Goldberg out of the building at that SmackDown we went to. That was a day. And then the match never happened because
Roman went away.
The world caught fire. And then he went away, came back in a huge way at SummerSlam. We talked about him earlier in the Best Heel nomination. And he's just... What else is there to say? We talked about it so many times. Just classic match after classic match. Very like dramatic Shakespearean type matches with Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, everybody else on SmackDown he's worked with so far. And if he never went away, he could have been in my book for overall superstar of the year. But he is not my pick for that. That's coming soon. That's the next round. So, I am sorry, Eric and Sam, but he won. He just by an inch. These awards are getting incredibly close. Do you have any defense before we give it? No, it's decided. But
Drew was here the whole entire year, starting from the Royal Rumble in January all the way to now. He has been on every show, every Raw show, every pay-per-view. He has been there.
This is true. He made that clear in their feud too for Survivor Series. He mentioned that He's like, I threw you out of the Rumble. You went away for a bit, but I was always here. But of course, he didn't win in the end because Roman choked him out. But it wasn't clean. Wasn't clean. Should be reminded. So, yeah, but voting happens when you vote.
Also, Drew's been winning his matches all by himself, and Roman has had Jey Uso helping him.
It's true. Kevin Owens could have won if it wasn't for Jey Uso. It's true. Ooh, but like I said, the votes. I'm sorry, Eric. It's just the story that we've gotten. If it was a full year, it probably would have been a whole different story here. But that's what happens when you vote. I'm sorry. Look, I lost last round with Asuka against Bayley. I think I got retaliation. But that concludes part 4. Take a quick breather, and we'll be back for the final part as we cap off the Shooty Awards. Here we are with the grand finale of the 2020 Shooties Awards. We have 5 awards left, and they are all big ones. Let's keep going as we head into our next award, the best promo of the year. This is one promo, not the most charismatic person on the mic, the best promo cut by somebody. Let's start with the absentee ballots. In the promo category, we have Sam has gone for Eddie Kingston. I think I know which one he means by this too. The Full Gear one, where they're like, "There's a reason why I don't have kids right now." My mom asked me, "Why don't you have kids right now?" And I want to go home with the AW World Title. Go, "This is why, Mom. This is why." That's an amazing promo that those two did together before Full Gear. He didn't win in the end, but still, it's how you got a following behind you. Tim, he has kept his from the mid-year, and he's stuck with the Edge return promo from after Edge returned, which that was a really good promo. Set up a big Mania feud for him against Randy Orton. We don't talk about the match itself in Mania. Backlash, though, good time. Good feud. Good times. That went out the mid-year winner for feud. Fun fact. But with them out of the way, let's start with Eric. Your best promo of 2020.
My best promo is something that has already won an award. It is The Undertaker's retirement speech from Survivor Series. Short and sweet, but very impactful, very big moment. Promo of the year. Undertaker.
Last time we saw him. Last we ever saw him, too. And then the Paul Bearer thing happened after that, too.
I mean, unless you pay $1,000 for a cameo, but...
That shit was funny. That stuff was hilarious. I love how, like, ever since then we've seen, like, the actual Undertaker, like, person, like, just come out and, like, this is what he's actually like.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious. He's actually, like, there's that picture in front of the laptop and he's like, I love that picture because he's, like, reacting to something. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with him, like, years come now. He's all done with the ring, like, the actual him.
I think he's going to be an NXT coach. I think he's already got an offer.
It makes sense. He's one of the best ever. So, where's mine? Let me try and find mine. I guess in the meantime, Schmidt, your best promo of 2020. I'm going to try and find mine. Where the hell it is?
I also changed this one last night. Mine is the Roman Reigns Jey Uso promo, the one where
before Clash.
Yeah, the one before Clash.
That one is. I watched that back, and that one's amazing. That's where I got that Jey Uso thing from earlier.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's the promo where I said earlier, where Jey Uso goes, "You know what they see when they see me? Which one are you?" It's that line, and they talk about the family, the lineage of like everybody. It sets the story for what's about to happen in the next couple of weeks, and it gets everything together, and it ends with Roman laying out his cousin. And it's like, wow, whew. And that feud, it's still kind of going on because, you know, Jay is kind of reluctant in helping out Roman and stuff like that, and, you know, it's still carrying on. So we don't know how it's going to end. Maybe Jay will be the one to do it.
I'm hoping.
Who knows?
It also ends with The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the head.
I wish, but we're getting Bill instead. It looks like, which makes me upset.
No, Goldberg. I want The Rock.
Tell Vince that I got no power. I'm sorry, Schmidt, but very, very good. That leaves me. I want to take everybody back to July 2020. AEW Dynamite. We deserve better. The state of the industry address from Maxwell Jacob Friedman, talking about Dictator John, what he sees in the industry, and all the issues that we see in wrestling today. To be fair, he did not win the feud, but still, this promo to go into the main event scene against the top champion, top wrestler in the world, I think, because he just was named PWI Insider #1. This was a great way to start the feud. You can argue he didn't win, but still, the way we got there, this is a way to start a world title feud. This guy who has been in the mid-card for a while, has been a recurring character, comes out, cuts a scathing promo. It has political tensions because, you know, the way he's presented and stuff like that, but that's over now. The Cheeto lost, thank God. So this is funny to look back on because it's very just spoof on him. He's dressed like him too. So it's just the enthusiasm, the intensity that MJF has in this promo just sets the bar of like how hard this guy's going to work in the years to come. And like I said, it's just a beautiful way to start like a main event feud. So everyone is different here. This is hard. So we've got Taker's Farewell. Very good. It's won an award already. We have the Roman Reigns Jey Uso promo for Clash, an amazing promo that I watched last night. We have Edge's return promo. Good start to set up a great Mania. We'll set up a great feud. Don't talk about Mania, but we'll talk about Backlash instead. And we have Eddie Kingston's pre-Full Gear promo with Moxley. So, this is a lineup. This is why this is safe for the last round, because it's actually really hard to pick here. Let's see. What do you guys think?
I'm sticking.
Undertaker. I ain't budging. I can't.
He's not saying Schmidt
either.
Oh my god. Wait till the goddamn dice. I didn't think I would have to do this because the tiebreaker. Because Sam and Tim aren't here to decide this.
I think we gotta pull out the dice.
We gotta pull out the dice.
All right, so let me get a D6 roller. Roll D6. Because Taker's won an award already, but like he's not backing off it.
Nope.
So okay, who wants to take what numbers? We got 6, so someone has to take 2 numbers. I will take 2 and 5.
I'll take 7 and 13.
No, it's just one. Just one.
Just one?
1 through 6.
Oh, 1 through 6. 3.
3. You get under number 2. So you get 2 numbers. I've taken 2 and 5.
Okay. 1 and 3.
1 and 3.
I guess
Okay, Schmidt.
4.
That means you get 6 and what's the other one? 4.
Yep.
All right. So this is it. I will screenshot this too and edit it in the video. So roll the dice. So recap: 2 and 5, 3 and 6, 1 and 4. Is that right?
Yeah. No. 1 and 3, 2 and 5.
2 and 5 was me.
4 and 6.
What are you putting at me? I picked 2 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 and 3.
1 and 3 is Eric.
3 and 6 is Schmidt, and then 2 and 5 is you.
So I have rolled the dice. 2. Do we want to do it's so if we're doing best of 1, that's it. But we want to do like a best of 3?
Yes.
Yes.
So 1 for me. If I get another one, it's over. It was a 5.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot this. So let me shit, I have to get the 2 again. There it is. So, very close. Every promo here was excellent. Don't get me wrong. They all had their all meetings. It's just the argument against MJF is he didn't win. But the way he did it and what this means for the future is just holy shit.
Well, you could say that about Eddie Kingston too.
Yeah, he didn't win either. But Sam's not here to defend himself. So, unfortunately, Sam was almost here. State of the industry. July 2020. All right. After that clenching segment, let's go over to the feud of the year. So a rivalry you really enjoyed and want to give it props. Going over to our absentee ballots, we have, let's look over here. Sam, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Tim, over at Impact Wrestling, Eric Young and Rich Swann. Eric, your rivalry of the year.
Naito versus Evil.
Interesting. Go on. Anything to add? Oh, he's cut out.
Uh-oh.
No.
I can't hear him. Eric, come back.
Internet sucks.
Just as when he's about to explain. All right, you're back. You're back.
It's always right as I explain. My internet cuts out.
You're good now.
So start at the beginning of the year, Wrestle Kingdom. LIJ wins the never 6-man tag team titles in the pre-show Wrestle Kingdom. Then we go into the pandemic and they shut down. Then we come back. It's the New Japan Cup. And, we're going through it. Evil is just tearing through everybody. He even beats Sonata. He goes to the finals. He faces Kazuchika Okada, beats Okada in a little bit of a dirty fashion,
Fluky,
but still wins.
He didn't see it.
So the next night at Dominion, it was gonna be Naito versus Evil. So we're like, all right, so a nice
LIJ versus LIJ thing.
Match. It's gonna be a nice match. And then Naito puts the fist up. Evil puts the fist up, but then too sweets him and then turns on Naito and has joined Bullet Club.
Shocking moment. One of the biggest of the year.
The shocker of the year, I think. And then next night comes out with Bullet Club, new entrance, new look in a one night. And so Kevin Kelly said this is the best. It's like, how long was this in the works? You don't just get new music, a new look overnight. It takes time to do all this.
Insider terms.
How
again.
long was this plan? And then they just had great matches. It did kind of drag out a little bit longer. Like
It did go on for a way. It went on with a power struggle. So
yeah,
when Evil beat him in the G1. That's what's in a power struggle.
That was a big one. Yeah.
Jingu was another one. That's where Naito won the belts back. Dominion's where it all started, of course. So yeah, it was a long feud. I was mixed about it, but got the purpose across. New big heel. Made up. JY wasn't in New Japan at the time because he was still in the US, so he couldn't really do anything. And it's kind of still carrying over because JY and Evil are kind of at heads right now. At least the last time I checked, they were.
Yeah, and then at Wrestle Kingdom we have finally Sonata and Evil going 1-on-1.
The big match, no stakes, just a big match.
Just a big match, and but I do still think that Evil was just put in that spot because JY was.
You think the spy thing? And it was your idea. Is he gonna be like a spy in the end?
I think he's a spy. I think he's
yeah. Because you mentioned that, and that's actually a pretty good idea. All right, Schmidt, your feud of the year.
My feud of the year. I've said how much I love this feud many times today. Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. It's just too good. It's just too good. Feud.
We've seen it with the matches. Kind of we had great matches. We had great storytelling. The family stuff, all that stuff being brought up, and that leaves me. I agree with Schmidt, and I think it was Sam. I think also had it. So yeah, it wins majority. I'm sorry, Eric, but it's 3-1-1. I think in this case because it was that was Tim's feud.
It's because you and me are the only one that watches New Japan.
That's true. Well, Tim kind of does. He's kind of like on and off. Tim picked Impact too, so we got two outliers here. So
I only
yeah, so this is it's just this to add to what Schmidt said. This is a feud that at times you forget that wrestling isn't real. It's that sort of thing where it's like you watch the matches and like holy shit, because they're talking to each other too, like someone actually would probably do to somebody about family stuff. They're talking it out, but Jay's just like, no, I'm not gonna do it, or like, no, I don't want to. Someone's like, all right, this is what you get for it, and he just keeps beating the shit out of him. The work with Jimmy Uso to make use of someone who's injured but still popping up on TV. It's wonderful television. It's like I say, it's very Shakespearean, and we talk about it a lot. Instant classic matches, a 5-star match in my opinion at Hell in a Cell, a great main event at Clash of Champions to really set the bar for what's to come. And it still kind of carries on today, as I talked about earlier. These two are still talking. There may be some consent coming up, maybe in 2021. Maybe Jey Uso will do it if Big E or somebody else doesn't do it. We'll see how it plays out next year. But majority though, there's a lot of good contenders here, like the breakout star. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso takes home for Superstar of the Year. Anyway, moving on next. This one is decided. I know what this one is. It's the show of the year. Here's why I know why. Let's go into our notes. Picks from the absentee ballots. Sam, TakeOver 31. Good pick. Tim, Wrestle Kingdom. I'm going to say my pick as well. Wrestle Kingdom 14. This is a complete show. A lot of variety. You get your big epic matches in your main events. You get your big epic title matches. You get your great upsets at the tag team match, the Texas Death Match on night 1. 2-night show in front of fans in the Tokyo Dome. Lots of people, and just the presentation was so good. I watched it live. Me
too.
And the best part, I thank Gato for sending me to SmackDown. Eric, you went too. I don't want to hear it. You went too, but Hey, Schmidt got second in that pay-per-view prediction too. He got second place, Schmidt. Which, impressive. Can Schmidt do it again? He's the champion going into the Wrestle Kingdom predictions this year, too.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, we'll find out. And I'm not doing the predicts for you this time. I want you guys to do them yourself because this is a big show.
You know what? If Schmitz win this one, I'll be so pissed. Schmidt, what's the main event of Wrestle Kingdom Night 2?
I don't know.
This is going to be... He almost won last year, too, was the thing.
I know.
So yeah, Eric, your show of the year.
Wrestle Kingdom.
It's one.
Actually, in front of a crowd, we had a double gold dash, Texas Death Match, Tanahashi versus Jericho, Sonata versus ZSJ, Kenta versus Goto, which is one of my favorite matches.
Yeah, actually pretty underrated.
Moxley and Suzuki face off.
That's that great match at Osaka. That match was so good.
After his match with Finn, it
was Juice
Robinson. Excuse me.
Finley was there.
Yes. And then we had a Juice and Liger's retirement as well.
He lost both his matches, and I can't believe he lost the first one. I knew he was going to lose the second one, not the first one. And Takahashi killed Ospreay. Jesus Christ, that finisher was amazing. That was my pick for finish of the year to mid-year. Didn't win though, because we didn't see it a lot. So yeah, Schmidt, what was your pick of show? Because this is decided already. What was your show of the year?
My show of the year was it was originally TLC, but I think actually Hell in a Cell deserves it way more.
Hell in a Cell was very good.
Hell in a Cell,
I will say, it was a good show. Was it their best pay-per-view in the main roster? Debatable. There was a couple good ones this year.
Yeah.
I thought Mania was good. SummerSlam was good. Reviews was all right. The ending was good. TLC was solid, I thought. And Hell in a Cell, hey, no, some matches ended in a bullshit finish. So hey, we'll take it. So yeah, it's a good one. We had some good matches there, Hell in a Cell, but unfortunately, you can't beat 3 votes.
Nope.
And I love Takeover 31 as well. I love Takeover 31. If you watch my review, I praise that show a lot because they had good variety. Some good. The main event was amazing between Finn and Kyle. There's just so much to that show. Plus, Escobar had a title defense. We had the opener between Johnny and Damian Priest. Kushida wrestled a garbage bag and won. He made a garbage bag actually look okay. So it was fun. All right, but at the end of the day, the Tokyo Dome takes it home.
Can't beat that.
Yep. Next up, the second to last award, the match of the year. Absentee ballots. We have, where are you? Sam, fitting the dog collar match. Fitting considering what just happened. Tim, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks of Revolution. That won the Mid-Year Award.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have changed my pick from that in the Mid-Year Awards to another one. Take it back to NXT UK in October. A match that I still can't put in the words, but Walter does it again. Another match of the year from me. Walter versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK Championship. This, I said for the feud of the year that this match made you forget that wrestling wasn't real. Take this, times it by 1,000, and this is your end result. So we know how well Walter and Dragunov work together because their days in WXW and on the independent scene, and they did not hold back in this match at all. Holy shit, I cannot. You had to go and watch this match because, they beat the shit out of each other. There's power moves to use the environment to their advantage. Walter's choking Dragunov on the turnbuckle at one point. They break the barricades. Now Tobias is going insane on commentary. They're shooting each other in German, yelling at each other. It's like, these two must have spent months, trying to figure out shit for this match, and then they just let them go out there and do it. It made Triple H and Shawn Michaels make a video about this match, talking about how good it was. That's how much of an impact these two made. And the strategy of both men. Dragunov is just fighting out everything he can against Walter, but Walter is being just the ring general he is, targeting the head of Dragunov to make sure he doesn't get the full effect of Torpedo Moscas. He got pinned by Dragunov before this match happened on NXT UK. He finds a strategy, neutralizes Dragunov. He can't continue because of his head injuries, and that costs him the match as Walter chokes him out, and he's a bloody mess. His chest is completely red, and here's another thing. No fans in attendance. However, this match benefited by having no fans for a lot of reasons. The atmosphere, the sounds of the moves they were hitting on each other, how stiff they were hitting each other, all the storytelling that was happening, commentary being the only other thing holding you back from what was happening in this match. Just go and watch it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I can't believe Walter's won 3 matches this year. He has another one. That's my pick. Schmidt, what's yours?
Mine is I'm gonna praise the feud again. Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns in an I Quit match.
That's another great match. I get that 5 stars too.
So good. It's good storytelling. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, it made me actually forget kayfabe. Made me believe in kayfabe for a second. I'm not joking. I was watching it with one of my best friends, and for a second we were just sucked in because the storytelling on all that, and then Jimmy coming out, getting hurt, and that's the reason Jay says I quit. It's just so good.
It's good. Yeah, I praised it in my review of the show, and yeah, it's a 5-star match for me too. That leaves Eric out. Eric, you might decide this. What is your match of the year?
Match of the year. Early in the year, I did say it was
Okada, wasn't it?
Okada Ibushi Wrestle Kingdom.
That's a great complete match too.
I also want to mention Okada versus Naito Wrestle Kingdom Night 2.
Night 2. The story in that match is amazing.
Yeah, and they just fought so hard. And for
Stardust Press, he did it.
But how the match ended, Naito pinned Okada, and then they just stayed tangled up for a minute and a half. They were the ending. They were so
the tragic ending.
Yeah, but my choice for match of the year is Walter versus Ilya Dragunov from NXT.
He's done it. He should have won last year in the awards. He should have won last year. He's finally done it this year. So, same reasons as me?
Besides, of course, Friday I explained it. I go every time.
He's done it again?
Every time. So, besides them literally beating the shit out of each other, and it may seem like I'm saying this because it's the most recent match, but the fact that this match took place under the WWE banner is what makes it so great.
This is it's like a New Japan style.
Yeah, we expect a match like this in New Japan or even AEW, but non-WWE.
It's like Suzuki against Shingo or something like that at times.
Yeah, exactly. It was just it's so non WWE that it was incredible.
Yeah, it didn't feel like an indie-rific match. It was like they told a great story. There's just like there's so much drama to it. Dragunov is trying to find some way to do it again because he pinned him already in the lead up. But like Walter just learned from his pinfall loss to Dragunov in the tag match, like what he needs to do to not get pinned. And he did the right thing. He targeted the head. He can't use Torpedo Moscow easily, and he choked him out in the middle of the ring. And it also I think it protected Dragunov too because he didn't get pinned.
Yeah,
he only lost because he passed out briefly. He was conscious after, but he was like, you're gonna be feeling that for weeks. So yeah, that's 2-1 in the call, and I think it's 2-1-1-1 across the board because everyone has a different pick. So it didn't do it again this time, but the match of the year goes to Walter versus Ilya Dragunov, and it's crazy that we're saying a no crowd match did it because
it's
rare.
No crowd
it's rare
made it
that
so
this
much
happens.
better.
Yeah, it's crazy that's so. I might watch again after this is over.
It's
gonna be, and stay tuned for my video. I'll do it even more justice when I talk about my top 10 matches of the year. All right, and here we are, the final award of the Shooties, the overall superstar of the year. Absentee ballots go first as they have already made their choices. Overall, Sam, Cody Rhodes. Interesting choice, considering his first half of the year was all right. Losing to MJF at Revolution, so not a great start. But then he goes for the TNT title, wins it in, like I said, divisive fashion. Some people wanted Lance to win. I know Eric was one of them. I was kind of in the middle about it. But then he makes the title feel important. The open challenge, met a lot of new people from that. Eddie Kingston being one of them, Ricky Starks being another. Loses it in a huge way to Brody Lee, and then comes back. The dog collar match was great. Loses to Darby Allin. He's been lingering since, kind of doing stuff with Sting right now, but it's not a bad year. Definitely a pretty good year compared to most people. Had some good matches. It's over to Tim. Like his men's pick, he has picked Roman Reigns for reasons we have already explained. So pretty easy. Schmidt, let's start with you. Your overall superstar of the year.
My original pick was Roman Reigns, but
I've
changed it to Drew McIntyre because
different pick. They're all different picks.
It's just been such a good year for Drew. Him winning the Royal Rumble, him winning the WWE Championship, and it's just been such a good year. He's defended the title so well.
Except when he lost
and
it.
Eric, you are next.
That one time.
So
he did lose it that one time.
My pick for overall superstar year is the current IWGP Heavyweight and IWGP Intercontinental Champion Tetsuya Naito. Here's my explanation. He went into Wrestle Kingdom 14 with nothing, left with everything. He held the double gold belts for most of 2020. I mean, okay, they were gone for a couple months, but
just for a little bit.
Yeah. And then, he had that great feud with Evil. He lost the belt only for like a month or two. Lost the belts. Won it back at Summer Struggle at Jingu. Had a great G1. And he's just consistently had great matches throughout the year.
Okay, is that all?
Yeah, and
right.
he was also named Japan's Sports Star of the Year this year.
That makes sense. The year he's had the redemption arc,
and
he couldn't get it done in the Tokyo Dome for years. Now he finally does it, and he wanted to be able to champion.
Yep, and then he also had that match with Kenta, and then Okada.
Osaka, yep.
Then his match.
Remember how much he bleeded in that match?
Yeah.
There was a lot of blood in that match.
And then his match with Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, one match of the year in Japan too.
Yep. One best bout, not Ibushi. Interesting. It's hard to say which one you prefer in that one, but they were both great, to be fair. We're staying up for 100%. So that leaves me. And now, my pick for overall superstar of the year. PWI's number one wrestler in the world and Wrestling Observer New Wrestler of the Year in 2018. Superstar of the Year from Sports Illustrated in 2017. And this year, PWI Tag Team Ranking, number 2, alongside Hangman Page. He has broken the Meltzer 5-star scale 7 times, and won this year at AEW Revolution. Unlike Roman Reigns, he worked the entire calendar year and has never had fans turn on him or walk out of his main event matches. Unlike Tetsuya Naito, he defeated Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight title before him back in 2018. And unlike Cody Rhodes, he was able to challenge for the AEW World title in 2020 and became the first man to defeat Jon Moxley. And unlike Drew McIntyre, he was never released from a company and had to go make his name on the independent scene. He is the current AAA champion, and every week he travels to train in the beautiful place of North Carolina. He is the current All Elite Wrestling World Champion, Kenny Omega. And yeah, that's my pick for overall superstar of the year. Yes, I did that over deliberated intro like Justin Roberts does. Hope you guys like that impression of Justin Roberts. But why Kenny Omega? So, complete and productive year in AEW. Started the year in tag division. Bit weird. You wouldn't think for someone like him, who we premiered as like the ace of AEW, to be in the tag division with Hangman Page. But hey, they made it work. They won the tag titles in big fashion on the Jericho Cruise, and then they went on to have a beautiful reign with those belts. Talked about it earlier, my tag team of the year pick. Great match at Revolution. Great match against the Lucha Bros on Dynamite. Great match against the entire division. Lost it in a big way against FTR. The whole storyline going in, manipulation, Hangman kind of like willingly outing the Young Bucks and getting out of the Elite. But Kenny, kind of, despite the setback, gets back into singles action, debuts a new character. Kind of like more of like a asshole, like diminutive, like looks down on his opponents kind of thing, as I saw in the intro. New entrance, wins the Eliminator Tournament, beating everybody along the way. Has a great match at Full Gear with Hangman Page. And the finish of that match, we're going to see that happen a couple years from now. I guess it'll be very important. And yeah, his overall story. The thing he said after he lost the tag belts to the Bucks, that he needs a clean start. And I think this clean start has really paid off. He became the first man to pin Jon Moxley in AEW. I know he's been pinned in New Japan. He was in the G1 in 2019. But still in AEW, no one's been able to do that. No one's able to pin Jon Moxley until that fateful night in December came. But not only that. Not just that. He also he changed the landscape, or starting to change the landscape of wrestling, because with Don Callis by his side, we now have something we didn't think was going to happen. We have, and it was right there in front of the entire time, ever since Full Gear. We're having a new crossover, or I guess partnership, between AEW and Impact Wrestling, and this could change the entire landscape in the next year. And what a way to start 2021 than wrestling his first match for Impact Wrestling alongside his Bullet Club allies, Gallows and Anderson, against the Impact World Champion Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns. So he wanted to change the world, and I think he's set a good foundation to do that in 2021, alongside having an incredibly strong year, both in singles and tag team competition. Also, he also did cinematic matches. Stadium Stampede. Remember how good that was? So, yeah, he's just a complete year. He's also defended the AAA title on Dynamite and against Laredo Kid just recently in December. So, yeah. How are we feeling? This is quite a list of names. There are disagreements all across the board. We're going to need a dice gun, aren't we?
I'm not budging.
It's a great argument. I just feel like he wasn't the headline guy
in AEW,
or just like I don't know. I just never got that.
Moxley was always above him, usually because he was the world champion. But like, whenever you look back on most AEW shows, Omega was usually the one who had like the best matches.
Yeah.
The Iron Man. Oh, I forgot to say the Iron Man match against Pac. That match was amazing.
Yeah.
That was the best match he wrestled that week, because the tag match happened that Saturday.
Yeah.
So, like, the guy constantly has standout matches, whether he might be in the mid-card, the tag division, or in the match he had against Moxley to win the belt was really good. May have not been the greatest match ever, but I thought it was still really strong. There's a story coming out of it. He's being an asshole. The character development is really taking a shift now. It's more like his New Japan days when he was the cleaner in the Bullet Club. So it's taken like it's gonna develop more in 2021, but like also what he's doing with the industry is just going to keep growing, because we have American promotions teaming up to go against WWE. Like, I'm sure they would. I think Kenny said he wants to work at WWE, but they just said no, because that's how they do business, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like, what are you guys' defenses or like against that oppositions?
I can't really defend against that. It's just the only thing that I will give Omega is that he was there the whole year. But that also that's not New Japan or Naito as well. That's the Japanese government.
That's COVID.
That's COVID. And just because Florida was allowed to stay open and their governor allowed them to do that.
I mean, they've been doing it safe at least, which is good. But at least the AEW has been doing it. AWE, on the other hand, nope. I'm gonna talk about that. A lot of problems there. But I haven't heard much aside from like talent outside of AEW. Like when they're not there, has something happened to them. I can't think of anything. I can't remember anything really happening at a taping. So we can't really knock him for that. It's just, the complete year tag team champion, AAA champion, defending on AEW, but I think on Dynamite and Dark at one point. And just like, the tag title reign, I've already talked a lot about in this episode. There's just so much to it. And there's a lot of working parts that only will develop more in 2021. Reigns was not here the entire year, which is why I think if Reigns was here the entire year, he could have been the overall superstar of the year instead. That's why I picked him for men's instead, because he had such a good strong year. And McIntyre is the only really like worthy defense I feel like against him. Like Naito as well, considering what happened. But it's really
No, but the thing is with Drew is like he stayed pretty flat like the whole year, but Omega's been like up and down. He's been
up and down.
changing.
But I feel like
trying
even
different
at his lows, he's still pretty relevant in the booking
things.
because he is someone that they have a lot of faith in because everything he's done in New Japan on the indie scene before he was signed to New Japan. Like the guy has made such a portfolio for himself. He's now getting more exposed to American audiences. People are starting to get more understand like why this guy was so good. And the next year we'll continue to highlight that as the world champion, because I feel like that's why you make him champion right away because you had Chris Jericho there. People know him more than Omega, so it makes sense. But now they've seen so much of Omega in AEW, it's like, all right, I think now's the right time to do it. You beat the guy that has not been pinned until this point in Jon Moxley. Sure, it wasn't clean. I'm sure we'll see that again someday. Maybe we'll see a decisive finish there because the gentleman's agreement was an issue. But that's where I stand. I think, I don't know. Like Schmidt, what are your thoughts?
I still think it's Drew. He's just been like this the whole year, but like
he won the Rumble and beat Brock Lesnar at Mania, so that's really big too.
It's been like a great year for him. Yeah, he lost one title defense, but
that's that booking. That's that strong booking.
He's got strong booking behind him and he's got the fans behind him and like he's just been really good this year.
But see, Omega's had fans in front of him though. We'll say that. It might be really small, but Omega. But so is Naito. He's had bigger. He's had more fans in front of him.
Yes.
So that's the advantage that these two have. It's just a matter of we might have to go back to the dice again. We might.
I mean, technically, Drew has had fans in front of him, just virtually.
Virtually, you can't hear them though. Oh, he did. He did at the start of the year though, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So did Omega, and so did Naito. So they've all been in front of fans at some point. I just, from a complete productive year, and like what it could mean for 2020, and I just do think that Omega is my pick for that reason. Because I think with Naito, I think he's about to lose the belts to Ibushi, like for his 2021.
That's a tough one. I'm still mulling that over. We got to do a predictions video for that.
Yeah, Tim has picked Ibushi. Tim picked Naito to win and for Naito to lose to Jay White.
I don't know.
I picked Ibushi both nights.
I don't think Ibushi. Yeah, I don't think Ibushi can lose another G1.
It's either that or like the third time's the charm for the next year, which that'd be such a gut punch.
Yeah, it's. I still got to think it over. I don't have a decision yet.
But like sticking to right now, who's it gonna be?
I definitely think Naito's gonna lose the belts for sure.
So right in this video, who is going to win this award?
Oh, this award.
Like, do we want to go to the dice, or Eric, do you want to think about it some more?
I'll concede. I'll go with
Eric
Kenny
has conceded
Omega.
to Omega.
Oh!
It's just like it's such a complete. If COVID never happened, Naito would have a brilliant. Naito would have won.
Yeah,
but it's just a matter of like what Kenny's been able to do and everything he's done this year. Like he's been a tag team guy, a trios guy, a cinematic wrestler for the Stadium Stampede, character development, working face and heel, and everything in between. So, I mean, you can knock his booking of the women's division. You can knock that. You can knock that on him because he does do that, and it's less about that the better. But yeah, it's a really hard argument, and
He's also in charge of
I just think that Omega's gonna have an even better year because now it's gonna be like the return to like 2017, 2018 Omega in New Japan, where it's like now he's in the States on national TV doing this stuff. And I forgot to say it earlier, but the first man to kick out of the One-Winged Angel on AEW, it's gonna be Hangman, and Hangman's gonna take that title from him at some point. I'm saying that right now.
He's gonna be up there with Okada. Is that what they're saying? If Hangman does do that, they're saying he's at the same caliber as Kazuchika Okada.
That'd be great. I hope they can mention him. They mention Okada on commentary.
I have a crazy theory is that after Wrestle Kingdom, I do think Ospreay's going to beat Okada. And then maybe we could see Okada coming over at AEW because what else does he have to do in New Japan?
That's true. Because it's not even for the Rev Pro title their match because he's the Rev Pro champion. But who cares about Rev Pro?
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, because he won it from Zack Sabre Jr. That was cool.
Yeah,
but it's like all right, it's not a New Japan title. And Okada doesn't want that shit. But yeah, that is it. Omega, very closely after a really strong case, wins overall superstar of the year for the year that he had. Originally, my pick for overall superstar of the year was Hangman Page. But then Omega won the title, and I'm like, oh, it's got to be Kenny now, isn't it? When you think about it from a kayfabe perspective, Hangman didn't only won the tag belts, and now he's really sad. But he's got new friends, maybe. So we'll see what happens. Okay, that was the Shooties Awards, but we have one last discussion I want to have. One last question, I guess. The big question. Wrestling 2021. What do we want to see?
Fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very easy. I mean, in the States, Japan will see fans, but in the States. So, yeah, I mean, like, what else are we excited for? Like, what are you excited for? Who are the names you think are in for a great 2021? Base questions like that.
Big E, Keith Lee. This is what I want to see with Keith Lee since he's over on Raw. Turns heel, joins the Hurt Business, becomes their heavyweight champion for that group.
Oh, Keith Lee is a bad guy. No, he's too nice. But I know that might be a knock on the guy for being too nice though. But yeah, him and the Hurt, that'd be cool to see him like join a stable and be like they're big, like this is our heavy, like aside from Lashley, like that'd be cool. And would like eventually like him and Lashley have a match?
Exactly. Or like because Lashley be like, who's this new guy?
What happened? Why can't I go for the title? Stuff like that. Because he lost it to Drew already, but like when Keith wins the belt, it's like, hey, what's going on here? I want that belt. And it's like a greed thing, corporations, blah blah blah, fun stuff like that. So yeah, Schmidt, how about you? What are some names you think could have a good 2021?
You should definitely watch for what Jey Uso does, because what he's gonna do is like he's gonna do good big things in the company.
I think when Jimmy's back, it'll be really interesting to see like them as a tag team. Like under the new dynamic.
Yeah.
Because like, there'll be a tag team maybe again. Maybe they'll make Jimmy a singles guy too and see how he can do there. Stuff like that. It could be fun.
I'd say make Jimmy a singles guy. Make him go after Roman for a few weeks.
We gotta see what happens though, because I think if like they go against Roman too much, they're gonna be cast out of the family. Like, that's the kayfabe thing. Because that's what Roman threatened during their feud. So what do I want to see? Well, I want NWA back first and foremost, because just not the same. I miss my Tuesday night wrestling like that. And what am I excited for? I think Mania could be, if it's 2 nights again, I think it could be another really good Mania. The booking plans are like in the early stages right now. The Keith Lee Brock Drew match could be amazing if that happens. We've seen Brock do a multi-man match against Seth and John Cena, which was a great match a couple years ago. New Japan Wrestling 15 should be interesting. I'm curious to see what they decide to do for the year, whether Naito retains, which would probably be the boldest decision, I think, or Jay White wins both belts, which would be the most interesting, like, bad ending, like evil ending for New Japan, because the bad guy wins and at wrestling that doesn't really happen. Usually like a good guy wins to end off the show, feel good moment, or you finally have Ibushi for all the work that he's done, take it all home, and it's on a feel good moment for Kenta beats him up.
Did you know Kota Ibushi's like he's 38 years old?
Yeah, he's old.
He's almost 40. He looks like he's 27.
It's scary, and he can still go. Yeah. He's just like terrifying. The guy, I hate to watch back him and Okada and get uncomfortable against how hard he was hitting in that match.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But what promotions do we think will succeed the most?
I'm excited for Impact. What's going on with them? Yeah,
the exposure. Because I don't know if you guys ever heard the fact that when Omega first appeared on Impact, they had like 50,000 viewers on Twitch, which is like thousands of an increase. They only had like 100 people watching like every week.
I tried watching on Twitch, but it wouldn't work, so I just waited for YouTube. But I got
on TV. Their ratings went up.
I have an Impact.
People are watching Impact. So yeah, it's working, and I mean the numbers may not be like as high as that 1 week, but hey, people are watching Impact, so it's like, hey, look at that. So it's good. Yeah, that's all I have to add. Aside from that, I'm also curious to see, I guess, like what happens in the Rumble, like who wins the Women's Rumble, maybe what's gonna happen with the women's division on Raw, because that needs something. What's happening on SmackDown, like just in general. NXT, what's gonna happen over there? Karrion Kross and Balor, Undisputed Era, what's there going to be like? NXT UK, what's gonna happen next for Walter? Rampage Brown is there now, which that could be really fun, I think. So yeah, it's a lot of questions we can go into the year with, but I think it's a good way to end it. And with that out of the way, the Shooties have now come to a close. We will now wrap this episode up. Might be a long one to watch, but we'll do a lot of editing to hopefully make it a fun experience for everybody. So, Eric and Schmidt, anything to plug before we go?
Nope.
Schmidt, nothing?
Follow me on Twitch.
Sorry, just continue.
Schmidt, go first.
Follow me on Twitch at Impulse753. I will be streaming probably Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I might start an Avengers campaign soon.
Okay. Sounds pretty good. Eric, back to you.
So like this video and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Also go to our Facebook page. Of course, my internet goes out.
All right. Makes sense. On my end, be sure to stay tuned for some of our content for 2021. We'll have this video going out. We'll also be doing stuff for the top 10 matches of 2020 from my perspective. I'll be talking about my top 10 matches of the year in a list video coming out very, very soon. Hopefully by New Year's Eve is my hope when this comes out. But stay tuned for updates on that. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Link in the description below to that. It's twitch.tv/Stellies with 2 underscores. But aside from that, we want to wish everybody a happy holiday, happy new year, be safe, and be well. And most importantly, thank you to Brody Lee for everything that you've done in your career. Rest in peace, my friend. I'm sure we'll see more tributes in the days to come. Take care, everybody, and thank you all for watching.